The 93X Half-Ass Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
The Half-Assed Morning Show backtracks.
All right, Josh. Thank you again for hauling in your old hemorrhoid pillow here to help me out.
How you feeling?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, yeah.
So, do you need something on your bottom when you go on like longer road trips?
I don't go on longer road trips.
I started doing that, and it's kind of a game changer. Use a pillow or something.
Game changer. I'm tired of that. Wapple, this is a new development for me. This ass pain. I just want to be clear. Josh brought me in a hemorrhoid pillow, his old hemorrhoid pillow, to help me out. I don't have roids right now. It's just my lifelong battle with trucker butt has made it so sitting for too long in my little office chair here has become painful. My ass cheeks hurt. The last time I went on a road trip, a long one, Wapple, I suppose, was a year ago. Went to Chicago. 5-6 hours? Yeah. I didn't experience it then. It's a new development, Wapple, but I appreciate the heads up. What have you been putting under your tiny little bottom?
I use like a pillow or something.
A pillow or something?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, a blanket. That also helps. I like how you got ass pain, and it's not me for once.
You're calling yourself a pain in my ass?
Yes.
Air Filter Jesus texted into the program when we were talking about this earlier. He calls himself, he says he is also tragically assless. He went on to say, as my wife would say, I could be sitting on a pillow that is on a mattress that is on a pile of foam rubber, which is in a box of feathers. And my sorry, flat, bony ass will be killing me after sitting for 15 minutes.
Does switching positions help?
A little bit.
I'll kind of move to different quarters of my butt, like different times.
A little bit. But see, you have cheeks.
But I don't. You say that, but I've been made fun of my whole life for having no butt. Like my pants coming down and belts don't necessarily do much.
You have cheeks. I don't even have ass cheeks. Yes, you have a tiny behind, Josh. Tiny, willing. But at least you have some meat there. I wish I would have been born with a big, fat ass. I bet you folks with barrel asses can sit all day long.
Oh, yeah. They have to be able to.
What does a fake ass cost these days? Could someone look that up on the internet? If Dana can have fake squirrel hair planted in his skull, then I should be able to buy a big, fat, fake, round, delicious ass to hang off of my frame.
Butt implants.
Yeah, you talking butt implants or just something you can kind of put over your butt?
Implants, yeah, a fake ass. Yeah.
$9,800.
$9,800.
Yeah, that's the average cost.
Wow. You should just get implants. I think that'd be close to half that.
Yeah.
Wait, isn't that what he's talking
I'm
about?
talking about breast implants.
Yeah, just get breast implants, but have them put on your butt.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see. Boy, you could.
I'd like to see you walk around with a couple of double Ds back there.
You're a boob man. You'd follow me everywhere.
Heck yeah. How confused would I be if he's got a nice rack, but it's on his butt?
Yeah.
There's got to be some warped, attention-starved internet psycho who's done that, right?
Oh, I'm sure.
Put boob implants on their ass so they can be on somebody's podcast. $9,800 is the answer on fake ass implants.
The Brazilian butt implants, right? Those are the ones that folks where they're just putting some great stuff in there. They're just injecting it with some sort of crack filler, so to speak. Blowing the butts up and then dying miserably.
I mean, you look at me every day, all day, don't you, Josh?
Luckily,
look at me.
Yes, lucky
I
me.
don't have a lot of room to complain, do I?
What do you mean?
When you look at me.
Oh, not at all.
I don't have any room for complaint.
No.
But I was born with this teeny tiny little grade school ass. And it's starting to torture me. Can I build up my ass?
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do some squats.
Squats?
I mean, you played a lot of hockey, and they're kind of known for their shelf butts, the hockey players. Women love hockey butt.
Yeah, that's what kind of
Never happened to
surprises me. Yeah, that never happened to you after
Never
all
happened to me.
that leg work.
Well, I wasn't built for that. It's just I wasn't programmed like that.
Maybe you're a lost cause, man.
Well, I think so. I'm closing in on 53 years old. It's not like an ass is suddenly going to grow on me.
You know what? Maybe some yoga would do the trick.
I'm not going to do yoga.
Plus, you already have a wife, so, I mean, it's not like you have to try anymore.
Yeah, but she's not the only woman in my life.
Oh.
That's not true.
Wapple,
it?
Wapple, look at me.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? She's not the only.
Now I got it.
You know what I'm saying?
I think I met that one a couple times.
Well, speaking of Wapple, let's fix his face while we're at it.
There's a lot to do there.
What could? How much is a nose job these days?
Yeah, look that up. If it's, you know what?
Like
Wapple,
a nose reduction is what I need.
If it's anything like I've heard some women complain about, just get big boobs and no one will ever see your face again.
A nose job can cost as little as $3,000, but it can be as much as $20,000.
What? Yeah,
I wonder if it matters how much work has to be done.
Yeah, you're a 20,000 guy.
Yeah, I'm probably going to tip the scale at about 30,000.
Right.
We'll be like, what is this?
I wonder how many
schnoz?
times they got to break that horn before.
How many different places?
Yeah.
Has it ever been broken?
No, I've never broken a bone in my body.
I had my nose broken for me quite a few years ago. I wonder how many different types of claw hammers they got to get out to bust up that schnozola.
Yeah,
Wapple.
we need the really big vice grip with the giant sledgehammer.
You know what? Maybe it'd be fun to get a plastic surgeon in here and have them pick us apart.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us what they think we need done and then how severe it would be, the process, like for how bad off we are.
I would love that for you guys. I'm good, though. I'm good. I don't want to hate myself anymore.
Like, all right, Dane.
Ashley, you are perfection. He's
Thank
going to
you.
just pass right, he or she are going to pass right by you.
Are you satisfied with your bottom, Ashley?
Yeah.
Because the rest, I'm not. I'm not satisfied with mine. Number one white boy is texted into the show, and he's suggesting I get a pair of padded Spanx.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've seen those.
Have you? Anyone wore those?
Never
No.
worn them, but I've seen them.
Oh God.
They
Somebody,
look comfy.
I'm not sure who it is, somebody within the household or maybe my stepdaughter, they ordered some Skims, which showed up at my house. Is that Kim Kardashian's deal?
Sounds right.
Don't they do something about the butts? I'm not sure what that's for.
So I just looked up another one that I could go for and like make my ears smaller.
Oh yeah, you hate your ears.
yeah,
hate
they're
your ears.
massive, and it looks like about $5,000 to get those.
Just
reduced.
become a Greco-Roman wrestler.
Oh, yeah.
After
Just
a
get
year,
cauliflower
well, I mean,
ears.
after a year or so, their ears just turn into little herpes.
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, just go sign up for Greco-Roman wrestling. It'll cost you, I don't know, $20.
Yeah, all of a sudden I'm wrestling with the U of M team, just sitting on the bench. All right, guys.
Your
Is that
ears
why-
are.
Is it worried about your appearance? Is that why you and Dana always dress like you're on the run? Have you noticed that? They'll wear the baseball hat and then the hood over it indoors.
It's
that's-
freezing in here.
Yeah, I got this stupid fan above me, so
I
it
have-
blows down my neck all day.
I have my hood up a lot too, just because it's strictly cold in here. They dress like what did you
They're
call
on
it?
the run.
Like they're on the run.
Like, I never know if I should turn Dana in or come up with an alibi. All right, what do we got here? What's going on? Who's after you?
A listener with a delicious sounding name has texted in, and that's Soggy Truck Seat Jesus has texted in. And he has a question. We're talking about my flat trucker ass.
Someone also said, well, this is the half-ass morning show.
Well-
because we all don't have asses.
All right, so Soggy Truck Seat Jesus says, sent in a text about my twin brother. He's with your twin brother being a bodybuilder, is he cursed with the trucker butt too, or has he grown a big, beautiful ass? Good question, Soggy Truck Seat Jesus. He has a big, fat, round ass, but he has had that his entire life.
He's caked up.
He's had that his entire life. I doubt his bodybuilding must have aided it a little bit, but he's always had a big can. When I came out the chute, I was built the other way. No ass at all.
He took all of the butt that you were supposed to have.
That's what some would say. All right, well, I don't know. If a plastic surgeon came in here and critiqued all of us, we'd probably just, my God, will we be depressed when we walked out of the friggin'
I could take it.
You think so?
Yeah, I might even say, hey, I thought you were a plastic surgeon. Take a look at this. How'd you miss this one? Fix that.
$9,800 for ass implants. God, I'd look good with that. Other texters, listeners who have texted in, are pushing a cheaper remedy. Someone said Spanx, a perfect cushion memory foam type of a thing. This is to help here at work, something else I could sit on. Well, Josh's hemorrhoid pillow is working pretty well so far. So another suggestion would be the perfect cushion memory foam cushion, I guess, okay? This individual sits all day welding, and they also are calling the cushion a game changer.
Oh, you might have to get one of these. These look super comfy.
Do they look nice?
Yeah.
I bet they'll soak up a fart.
Definitely.
Soak up a fart.
I don't know, Cubby.
Well, I'm glad that it seems to help. You know, you're the first person to try that out. I was wondering how comfy that thing would be.
It's very comfortable. Very comfortable.
Did you just have one in case of emergencies, Josh?
No, my kid, she gave it to me as a joke for Father's Day.
Ah, nice.
Do a handful of squats every day, according to Diabolical Protein Farts Jesus.
Oh, no.
Those can be bad.
Do a handful of squats every day, and you'll get a doink, he says, in no time. I don't think so. I don't think so. I've watched videos of those wrestlers doing squats. Honestly, I'm not trying to bring up dark things, but many, many years ago, I think Chris Benoit was on a fitness show somewhere, and he talked about the benefits of doing squats every day, and the sumbitch would do 2,000 a day or something like that, right? It looked miserable, even without anything on his back. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because, back to my twin brother, when he lifts weights, he squats. He's got, 2,000 pounds on his back, and he goes up and down. Even without any weight on your back, that looked miserable. I can only imagine the cracking sounds my knees would make with that repetitive action. I don't know. I don't know what I'll ever do, Josh. But at least for now, you've dummied down the pain a little bit.
Well, that's all you can hope for sometimes in life.
You really have.
Have you thought of alcohol? Have you ever had an alcohol before?
What is that going to do for me?
It might numb the pain.
To numb the pain, yeah. Have I had an alcohol?
Yeah.
Yes, a couple of them yesterday. Oh, sure. Yeah, we've been talking about my ass, as silly as it sounds. What I can do to maybe, I don't know. What's the word I'm looking for? What do I want to do? Just, I guess, overall improve its appearance. Tired of dragging around this trucker butt my whole life, and now it's bringing me pain as I sit here in my little chair broadcasting. It hurts. Josh improved things earlier by bringing in his old hemorrhoid donut. I've been sitting on that all morning long. It helps. It does, and I appreciate it. I call it trucker butt. Listeners have texted in saying it's called oatmeal ass.
Oatmeal ass.
Never heard that one.
Said it happens to me when I'm riding my motorcycle for too long. That's Back Dimples Sheezes. She gets a case of oatmeal ass. Or
I've heard pancake butt.
Pancake
heard
butt.
That before.
Bleacher butt.
Bleacher butt.
Sitting on bleachers too long will flatten out your ass, and then it hurts after a while. Here's something for you. Here's a list I want to make someday. These are supposedly, how did they put it? The most sensational celebrity butts, okay? I want to make this list someday. Sofia Vergara.
Sure.
Jennifer Lopez. Beyonce Knowles. Jessica's Biel. I haven't seen her in a long time. What does she do now? Just make babies with that singer? What's his name again?
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
Justin Timberlake?
Yeah.
Is that who she's married to?
Aren't they a couple?
Yeah, they are.
Eva Longoria.
Right.
Delicious, wonderful, all-time celebrity asses. Maria Menounos. Megan Thee Stallion. And a couple of the pictures of these ladies, and my assumption is they're showing up at, Hollywood functions. They're not wearing any clothes at all. They just show up wearing no clothes.
Yeah.
A lot of see-through kind of stuff.
Yeah, do you know what it means to be Dua Lipa?
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
I got a crush on her.
She's very good.
Oh, yeah. She's gorgeous.
What about
Her derriere is divine, I must say. The Dua Lipa lady.
Okay. I'm going to look her up someday. Sierra?
Yep. Isn't that Mr. Unlimited's wife?
Yep.
Oh, for Christ's sake, is that right?
Yeah, Russell Wilson.
Did you see? Are you looking at the picture I'm looking at, Josh?
I don't know.
She's not wearing any clothes at all, and she's in public.
Somebody should tell her. How embarrassing.
There's no back to her outfit. Nope, no back. And there's fishnets on the bottom, and she's wearing G-string underwear. Just walking around town. Who else are these wonderful celebrity asses? They go ahead and they mention this Taylor Swift.
What?
I guess I never noticed.
No, yeah.
I wouldn't picture her on that list.
She has a nice butt. It's very because she works out a lot. She has a very rigorous workout routine.
What'd she do that for?
How familiar are you with her routine? This is becoming disturbing a little bit. She
probably too
rises
much.
at 7:15.
Mm-hmm.
I accidentally, this is what happened because Twitter will if you read or open one tweet about something, they'll spam you with all that other information, and I accidentally liked a Swiftie tweet, from her kind of cult following vibe, and now that's all I see. I know way too much about her.
I hear you. That can become a problem. Selma Hayek is mentioned here.
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh, she has no competition. Hottest woman in the world.
As far as wonderful celebrity bottoms, Emily Ratajkowski. And who's the final? Someone called Carol G.
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Okay.
Was Kim K not on that list?
No, I think they didn't.
Silly.
They didn't point out the obvious.
Yeah, because she's on every other list. Her and one of the Jenners, I forget which one.
Yeah, I think that whoever created this, some website,
They just thought that was a given?
Yeah, a given, or they're just burned out on the topic.
And Lanny Wilson's not on this list? Come on. That's debunked right there.
I don't
Kim
know.
Kardashian removed her butt implants, people believe, because her butt has shrank a considerable amount from what it used to be.
She had implants?
Yeah.
I'm not being facetious. I
didn't know that
I thought
either.
that was they were what people, that was their gift.
I'd never heard that
the
before.
Kardashian butt.
You sure she had butt implants?
Yeah.
All
I'll
right.
send you some pics, too.
You sent me some links.
Yeah, you got to check out Lanny Wilson, though. It's obnoxiously big.
All right, I don't know Lenny Wilson. What do I know her from?
Oh,
She's
the country singer?
Yeah, she's a country music star, and she was on Yellowstone, too.
I forgot you love her, don't
I
you?
absolutely love her.
It's a big one.
Oh, it's massive.
Now, let me ask you, is it something where you could predict? Because I was at a bank once, and the bank lady stood up, and I thought, my God, that's two different people. They cut the top half off one person and the bottom half off another. It didn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. It does not make any sense.
I got to look her up, too. Who else was I looking up? I forgot. So, Ashley, are you the type of gal that checks out a dude's ass?
No.
Yeah? I'm happy to hear that. I never understood women's attraction to a man's ass, which is the filthiest place on planet Earth.
They're so hairy.
And
Right.
itchy.
Right.
So hairy.
I never understood that. Oh, he's got a nice ass. And I've always wanted to say, you should see that sumbitch without the pants and the underwears on top. You'd be horrified.
Mm-hmm.
We're greasy, disgusting gorillas. So I don't get that. I never understood the whole, ooh, nice ass on that.
Except there's one exception. Max Kepler.
I was going to say,
Something about his butt.
so when you're at a Twins game, you're not checking out dudes' butts?
Well, let me just say
only him.
this.
I'm loyal to him, Dana.
First and foremost, it's disgusting that you objectify men's bodies, and I'm tired of women doing it. But what part of a man's body do you look at if you're not a butt lady?
Their hands.
Really?
Yeah, big hand girl. Yeah, I
For what?
something-
Any because of the connotation there, or you just like hands?
I think it's then you can imagine them on you, especially if they're strong hands or just clean hands. It's oh, I can see that hand on my thigh or whatever where it would go.
I see where she's going with that.
So yeah, something about it.
And by the way, I also read when scouring this hot celebrity asses article, I also found out, it says here that Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro have worn padded asses in the movies.
For some reason,
So they look like they have a little more cake back there.
Yeah, Leonardo DiCaprio gives me the vibe that he's got a pretty flat butt.
Well, he's a tall, skinny guy, right? Isn't he tall and skinny? Or am I thinking of someone else?
He's skinny. I don't know how tall he is.
I don't know how tall he is.
How tall is he? He looks tall in the movies.
Let's see.
It says 6 feet here.
Oh, yeah, he's tall.
I'll call that tall.
It's tall as far as I know. A few other people are saying, if 6 feet is 5'8". So, that's how it always goes, right?
Oh, yeah, they goose it a little bit.
It's all over the place.
Fair enough.
That means I'm 6 feet tall. That's great.
You're taller. You're 6'4".
At least.
Yeah, if you're going to lie, just go for it, man.
KXXR, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
The part of Cumulus Media they don't want you to know about.
The home of the half-assed morning show.
This is Minnesota's 93X.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X half-assed morning show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
O'Shea Jackson Jr. and TJ Jefferson bring their unique take on sports entertainment with no contest wrestling, with guests like WWE Hall of Famer Eric Bischoff.
You are an excellent villain. No, I appreciate that.
Did that ever just kind of wear on you sometimes?
The only time it got difficult is when they weren't doing loudly enough. As long as I could get the crowd to hate me, that means we were making money and we were doing things right. So the more the better.
The No Contest Wrestling Podcast, part of the Rich Eisen Podcast Network, wherever you listen.
Half-assed morning show. 93X.
All right, I will likely be little help from here on out because most of the television shows I'm about to bark out loud, a great majority of them never saw it. Ranker.com asked its followers which TV workplace you would like to work at. And here are the most popular answers. Was that proper grammar, Josh? Which TV workplace you would like to actually work at?
That works.
All right. And here are the most popular answers.
Well, what comes to mind for me right away would be Dunder Mifflin from The Office. I think that'd be fun to work there.
Yeah.
I didn't see it on this list.
Yes, it's there.
That's crazy. You think that would be like the number one answer. Wow.
Oh, yes, it is. It's number 8. Okay. I also would say Princeton Plainsboro from House.
Oh, yeah.
A lot happened in that hospital.
Yeah, that's for sure.
You've been talking about that show.
Yeah, I've been rewatching it the last couple weeks.
I would like to work at the office from Mythic Quest.
Oh,
that's a good one, too.
That would be
they do have a lot of fun there.
Yeah. Testing video games and stuff all the time. Yeah. That'd be fun.
All right. Like I said, I'm going to have very little to add. I think when I look at the top 15 TV workplaces where people would actually like to work, I think maybe I've seen 3 or 4 of them. So you guys
one for sure.
You're going to have to help me out big time. First off, tell me what is so special about working at Dunder Mifflin from something called The Office?
Oh, the pranks. It was a very funny show. I don't think you'd care for it, but I don't think it's your style of humor. But yeah, it was. They had like working with Dwight and everything Dwight and Jim do to each other. They're all great.
That would be so. I would look forward to going to I would never leave the office. Oh my gosh, if you could hang out with Jim and Dwight all day.
Okay, here's what else we have. The Pawnee Parks and Recreation Department from a show called Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, that'd be another fun one for sure.
I want to be April's best friend.
Yeah, I was going to say, you get to be coworkers with April Ludgate. That's not a bad thing. Aubrey Plaza is the actress's actual name.
Ashley, you and her would have a lot in common.
Oh. I know. I love that. Is honestly one of my favorite compliments that I get from people sometimes is that our personalities are pretty matched up.
I guess either you'd be best of friends or mortal enemies. One of the two.
Just absolutely hate each other.
Try to kill each other.
Yeah.
Okay. Cheers.
Oh,
yeah,
of course.
That'd be fun to work at the bar there.
Mm-hmm. Kim's Convenience Store from the show of the same name.
Oh yeah, that's a cute little show.
I've only seen the commercials. I've never actually watched it.
I don't see like the appeal that much, I guess, but
TV workplaces where a lot of folks would actually like to work. Now, I don't know this one at all, like I said, most of them. Party Down. People would like to work at a place called Party Down from a show called Party Down.
It's the name of a catering company. It's a bunch of struggling actors who do a very bad job working on a catering gig. It's very funny.
I've never heard of that. I'm gonna have to put that on my list.
With Adam Scott.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I watched it, and I don't think I liked it, but I continued to watch it for whatever reason. It was okay.
Dana told me I need to get into it because I would like it.
I don't know Party Down, but I do know that Randy Watson played Joe the policeman on the What's Going Down episode of That's My Mama. That much I can tell you. The 99th Precinct from a show called Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
That'd be another fun one.
That would,
yeah.
I would love to hang out with Terry Crews and Andy Samberg.
Oh, you could probably participate in those. What are those games that they do, Wapple, where they hide something and then they fight? It's like a scavenger hunt.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that would be fun.
I'd be good at that.
TGS is the workplace. The show 30 Rock.
Oh, that'd be another fun one. Mm-hmm. That's a very, very funny show.
Tina Fey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Tracy Morgan.
At times, just pure brilliance.
Yep.
Bob's Burgers from the television show Bob's Burgers.
Oh, I didn't even think about animated shows.
No, me either. I've always wanted to try all those burgers he has too. They look amazing.
There's a book that you can buy that has them all.
What?
It has every single recipe.
You guys, I haven't lost you yet. I haven't. You know every one of these.
Here's one real quick. Here's one from a listener. Ramsay Bolton's Dungeon. Now, if you're a Game of Thrones fan, you understand that reference.
I think Wapple is.
I will pass on that.
Yeah, I'm good on that one.
Yeah. I'll live vicariously through you.
Is that where they cut wieners off?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and the dogs.
I remember seeing one of the episodes of Game of Thrones where someone had to go ahead and cut another guy's pecker off. Oh. All right. Cloud 9 is the workplace, and the show is called Superstore.
Yep, that would be fun.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought maybe I'd finally get you there. Central Perk from the show Friends.
Nah, because the barista there, he seemed kind of like a jerk. What was his name?
He's a douche.
I got to tell you, up until a month ago, I could honestly say, never saw it when Friends came up. But I've been watching that show now when I fade off to sleep in the late mornings after we get done with this here nightmare.
Gunther. His name's Gunther, Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so if you don't mind, let me give you my take on a show that was popular 29 years ago. I've been watching it. It's, I don't know, it's okay. It's decent, what do they call it? Brain...
mindless?
Mindless, there's a word. Time suck. Time suck. It's a decent time suck as I'm attempting to fall asleep. The dude, and again, I know this is 30-year-old information. The dude who plays Ross is horrible.
I can't stand him. He was, I don't get it. Yeah, Ross, that was in my mind, one of the worst characters on TV.
And he was even horrible in Band of Brothers.
I have liked him in a couple roles that I've seen since. I have. I'm not going to completely trash. What's his name?
David Schwimmer.
David Schwimmer.
Supposedly he's a really good director and a nice person.
Okay.
But yeah, that character was tough to
I'm
like.
not going to completely trash the dude altogether because I have seen some things that I enjoyed. But that character is unwatchable. It's just horrible.
I totally agree.
He's so frustrating.
So that's kind of like Ramsay Bolton and Joffrey, who played those characters. I hate those guys now, but it's not their fault because they played their parts so well That's why I hate David Schwimmer in Band of Brothers, because he was such a prick and he was so good at it.
Well, so you're actually giving him credit then?
I think I would be, yeah.
Yeah,
For what?
If you're
For both?
For playing such a perfect prick.
Yes, because I still hate him so much just because of the Band of Brothers role. But I mean, he must have done a great job if I hate him that much.
Right.
Like the dude from Gladiator 2, the Emperor. He was
I mean Gladiator also.
Yeah.
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 All right.
Walking Phoenix. There we go.
What do I do here? WNYX from News Radio. That's been so long. I mean, I don't recall.
Yeah, I forgot about that show.
We're going through TV workplaces that people would actually like to work. I watched News Radio 3-4 times, but it was a long, long time ago. Cage and Fish from a show called Ally McBeal.
Never watched that
Never
one.
even heard of that.
Oh, it seems like a you show, Dana. I never watched it either, but I would have assumed you were into that.
No, I never got into that one.
Abbott Elementary from a show called Abbott Elementary.
I watched a couple episodes of that. It's really funny. I don't know why I haven't gone back.
Oh, it's so funny.
I think it just felt too much like Parks and Rec for me.
Maybe, but they're good, man. That was funny.
Yeah, isn't that the guy that was in Everybody Hates Chris?
Yes, Tyler James Williams.
Yes, I love that guy.
Just a couple more. I'm going to guess it's Merlot's Bar and Grill from a show called True Blood.
Do they call it Merlots in the show? I can't remember.
I've never seen it.
Never saw
Maybe it was Merlot. I can't remember.
And the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant.
Oh, yeah.
I can't believe Patty's Pub from Always Sunny didn't make the list.
That was the only place I thought of right away.
I know it would be a little chaotic, but I think it would be fun.
Yeah, I would like to work at Planet Express from Futurama. That'd be a lot of fun, too. I'm Zoidberg.
I watched a lot of Simpsons, now and again. I mean, casual fan. Always liked Mr. Burns quite a bit,
Seems like a tough place to get fired
Selfish.
from if Homer's lasted that long there.
He just eats donuts and gets drunk and creates problems.
I just remember one line from Mr. Burns, and this is going to go nowhere, and I know it. One line from Mr. Burns, and it came while he was over there at the Springfield Nuclear Power Plant. And for whatever reason, I can never forget this line where Mr. Burns says, "Give them their tartar sauce." We were talking about TV workplaces where folks would actually love to work. We went down most of the shows I never saw it. Most of them I didn't even recognize the names. Our listeners have gone kind of old school here with some of their text messages on the topic. And finally, I can recognize some of these shows, some of these television shows. Never saw it, but I know you guys touch yourselves over that Always Sunny setup.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Patty's Pub.
A lot of folks want to work at Patty's Pub. One listener wants to be a fireman on Tacoma FD.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
What the
and,
hell?
The girl in it's pretty attractive, and it's the dudes from Broken Lizard that do Beer Fest.
Right.
Then I'd like to be a
Super Troopers.
fireman on Rescue Me.
Oh, that would be chaotic.
The cab company from Taxi. Arnold's from Happy Days. Hell yeah.
That'd be a cool joint, yeah.
Joni and her hot friends come rolling in there once in a while. Every weekend there's a marathon dance contest or a friggin', what else do they do? They jumping over school buses on a motorcycle. Arnold's was where it's at, for Christ's
Mr.
sake.
Miyagi could probably make you a pretty good bacon double cheeseburger or
Oh,
something.
yeah.
A listener wants to work at the Boar's Nest on the Dukes of Hazzard. You hang out with Daisy all day and you fight with drunks.
Genius.
Working at the shoe store with Griff and Al Bundy.
That'd be cool.
Those guys were so funny together. Pawtucket Brewery from Family Guy.
Yep,
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
One of our listeners says, I want to work with Fred Sanford at his friggin' scrapyard.
Sure.
Another listener would love to work at South Park Elementary.
I don't know.
Never a dull day there either.
They take some abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's my role there? I want a very defined role.
Yeah, I do not
You're
want to be the
PC
counselor.
principal.
No.
Yeah, all the teachers kind of seem cracked out there a little bit.
This is
What's wrong
hilarious.
with Mr. Garrison? Totally normal.
Like I said, they went old school here, our listeners texting in on TV workplaces where they would actually love to work. This is great. Mel's Diner from the sitcom Alice. You got to be older to follow that. That was really, truthfully, Josh, that was an awful television show.
I actually never saw it.
What?
No.
It was hugely popular in the late 70s, and the acting was so bad, but I was drawn to it. I couldn't help myself. Mel was funny.
What about the Drunken Clam from Family Guy?
Oh, sure.
The restaurant, yeah. The bar they hang out at.
Those guys get in some trouble. And Jerome, he's so cool. I bet he'd be a cool boss.
God, he'd steal all of our ladies.
I'm guessing this is, what's his name again? Hey, Bobby, what the hell was the name of that?
King of the Hill.
Strickland Propane?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I have a final here, and then, God knows what'll happen next, but a listener says, I watched this one television show about the Bunny Ranch. Seemed like a decent atmosphere for a workplace. I did get hooked into that show. It was
so did I.
An
Me too.
HBO series. Well, it was like a series, docu-series. Docu-series. Maybe it was just called The Bunny Ranch.
Was that her Cat House?
Cat House.
Cat House. Maybe that was it. But it was filmed at the Bunny Ranch outside of Vegas. If you believed everything that you were shown on that program, and I didn't. But
what about the one where the mom wants her son to get his bean snapped? That seemed a little far-fetched. If that was real, that's very creepy.
That's exactly where I was going. If you believed all of what you saw on that show, and you probably shouldn't have, that was the scene where I thought, oh, boy, they're really going for it now.
Yeah.
They had the supposedly hidden cameras, and one of the prostitutes is wearing next to nothing, sitting on her bed, waiting for a customer. And here comes this lanky, dorky-looking, young, kind of like Wobble, and his mother is there to pay the prostitute to take his virginity.
Wapple, you were an older gentleman. I mean, older for, typically you might lose your virginity before 24. I know that's not everybody's story, but that's somewhat common. Would you have ever gotten to a point where if your mom said, all right, we got to do something about this, I'm taking you to the Bunny Ranch, do you think you could have went through with it?
No.
What about if it was the old man?
I still don't think I could. I don't know. I don't think I could do hookers or prostitutes and stuff like that.
You make it sound so awful.
They're providing a service.
It's the oldest profession. Haven't you heard that before?
I don't know. I don't know why you got to come off like that. But what if the old man said, "Look, we'll double team one. I'll be there the whole way."
Definitely not.
I'll help you out along the way. I'll be within arm's reach of you the entire time.
You made Dana choke on his water.
I will spit my water all over Ashley.
All right, this person has a death wish. They mentioned Vought Industries they'd like to work at. Are you crazy,
dude?
From the boys?
Oh, God. Yeah, you would not want to work there.
No, some terrible things happen to those people.
They're very corrupt.
What do you say we go to Las Vegas and double team a couple of broads? What movie? Heartbreak Kid.
Be kind and rewind. The Half-Assed Morning Show Rewind.
Yesterday, I did something I haven't done in years. Haven't done it in years.
Can we guess?
Well, I told you, so you know. But pretend you didn't know the answer to it. What would you guess?
Well, we were talking a little bit off the air, so I'm going to go ahead and say that the answer is go to the airport.
Nope. Unfortunately, I've had to do that quite a bit recently.
All right.
Not a fan. That's a stressful situation.
Something you haven't done in years, and you claim to have given it away while we were talking off air. Oh, Christ. Now, if I don't have the answer, he's going to think that I don't pay attention to the conversation. You're going to think that I don't listen to you when we have conversations off the air, which is 100% inaccurate. The word I'm looking for is I cherish our on and off air conversations. Go ahead. I don't remember what you said, so dump it on.
I got to guess.
Huh?
He finally pumped some iron again.
No, I pump a little iron here and there. So this is a guess from a listener. Sex. Nope. Although I thought I was going to get some last night. I'll have to explain that to you.
You sure as hell?
I was going to guess internet pornography.
I've never really done that. I've seen it from friends who have bombed my phone with
something he's never done before. Where he's going with this is something that he has done before, but he hasn't done it in years.
A while.
Who finally went number 2?
You're close. I urinated into a cup in my vehicle yesterday, and it's been a long time, a very long time since I've done that. I was at the airport, and I'm waiting to pick up my kid, and I'm sitting in a parking lot. It was delayed. I'm sitting in a parking lot, and I just got done drinking a giant pop And so I was 40 minutes into it as I'm sitting there. I realized, oh, no, I got to go. And there's no place around to go. And I was right next to the airport. I didn't want to lose my spot.
Jesus, this kid of yours made you wait over 40 minutes for them at the airport?
Well, the airline. It wasn't her deal. And so I was sitting there, and I'm like, thank God for illegally tinted windows because I was able to go right in that cup. I got a little nervous towards the top because, as you guys know, I can fill some volume when it comes to that. And so towards the top, I got a little nervous. But I kind of felt like a teenager again. It's been so long since I've done that.
Did you take it home with you? Did you dump it out the door when you were done?
I did. I brought it in case you guys wanted to see it.
So you put the cap on it? Oh, a cup.
Yeah, it was like a Chipotle large pop thing.
Couldn't you and your passengers smell it?
Oh, it's just me. I mean, I dumped it out before I picked her up, although she would have thought that was pretty funny.
Oh, you dumped it out before anyone got in the motor vehicle.
But I was, I don't know if you guys do this the older you get. Sometimes if there's a situation like that, I try and picture the headline. Grown man caught urinating in his vehicle, waiting for a 22-year-old girl to step off plane. I kind of try and think, like, could this be a headline?
And,
is this going to ruin my life? But there was nothing I could do.
And being parked in line there at the airport, you were under surveillance.
Well, it wasn't actually in the line. It was a parking lot just adjacent to it, right?
Well,
but there were other people. I parked as far away from other people as I could. And like I said, I mean, if you can see in my windows.
You have illegally tinted windows.
Very, very, very dark. And this is the third time I've tinted them because I tested the waters with a little bit of illegal tint. And then I went middle ground, and eventually it's limo.
It got out of control.
It's ridiculous.
And I think it's interesting to point out, I don't know if we've discussed this yet live on air, why your windows are so heavily tinted. Isn't it because you just don't feel comfortable people looking at you?
Well, kind of. It was more, there's a particular area on the way in here this morning where people will come up to your vehicle when you're at a red light, right? And just kind of, I don't know, mess with you.
You get this a lot? You get to a red light and people walk up to your vehicle?
Quite a few times, yeah. Quite a few times at a particular area.
And so you just don't want these people to, is it like...
I've been left alone now. Versus like folks coming up.
Yeah.
If they're unable to see,
they don't know what's going on in there.
Yeah, if they're unable to see who's behind the wheel, maybe they'll assume the worst and not want to mess with you.
Yeah, and I was told, hey, you want a window tint prescription? I got a guy. Like I met a guy. I felt like I was meeting a guy in the back alley. He'd given me a hastily written phone number, so I went to the guy, right? And the guy's like, yeah, I don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, well, no, I've got a eye condition. Wait a minute, write me that thing in case I get pulled over.
So he was kind of keeping it on the down low?
I don't know if the dude, he said, there was a time when I could do something like this. I can't do it anymore. So, I ended up paying for an eye exam and, got a new prescription.
You've got a big, beautiful truck. I mean, you had plenty of room to urinate in a cup. You could have laid down to do it. You could have stood up.
Yeah, you could live in that
to.
truck.
Yeah, it was no problem whatsoever.
You could have stood
the
up.
Mechanics were very easy, and I wasn't too worried about anybody seeing. Like I parked towards the end, and it's so dark, that tint.
Well, at least you got it in the cup.
Yeah. Oh yeah, 100%. I said, towards the top, I worried about it.
You know the story of my failure to execute an in-car urination from a number of years ago. That was embarrassing. But as far as I know, nobody noticed. I don't know how they didn't notice. I just soaked myself in my own urine.
Just like a fire hose.
It was great. It was. It really was. It was horrible. This was many years ago. God help us. I mean, I was such a heavy drinker at one point in my life that I was in Bloomington.
Oh, man.
Were you at like a Bennigan's?
No, it was a well-known joint. It had like a Caribbean vibe or something off of Normandale Boulevard. It was there for years. Billabong.
Billabong. Yeah, off 494.
494.
Yeah, I used to go there quite a bit.
Is it at Normandale?
It's a little east of that, yeah.
Okay, right. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. We used to go there all the time.
That's how... how easily I would throw all of my morals out the window once I had a few beers. I went to Bloomington, and I hate that town. Hate it.
Oh, I like Bloomington.
No one likes Bloomington. So I find myself at this Billy Bong's, and I'm drinking a lot, and hit it off with a lady. She lives nearby, and she says, let's wrap up these beers and go back to my place. And I agreed. Don't call the cops. Yes, I did drive drunk from Billy Bang's or whatever it was over to this gal's apartment. It was a couple miles away. Sorry, I've learned my lesson. I don't do that anymore, but I was young and wild. So
I'm sorry, just to interject real quick. I drove drunk a couple times. Back in the day, you knew it was wrong, right? But it didn't seem like as big of a deal as it does today. I don't know. Maybe just that's getting older. But Bloomington is also, the 2 times I ever drove drunk were in Bloomington, and that was the last time I ever drove drunk because I ended up parking in the middle of the street and trying to get into a friend's house, and I was across the street from where hung out with this friend almost every single day in Bloomington. So that's where I decided I got to quit. So it's interesting that was Bloomington too.
I think it's because when you enter the city limits, you say to yourself, I can't get any lower. What does it matter what I do?
Maybe that's the case.
So this gal tells me, let's go back to my place. She gives me the address. She says, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And I said, great. So I leave. I get to her parking lot. And like I said, I was intoxicated. And as I pull in and find a parking spot at her apartment complex, there is a police officer parked in the lot. Okay, a little nerve-wracking, but I'll just sit here. I'll make myself invisible. I won't draw any attention to myself. And I'm sitting there, 10 minutes go by, 20, 30, 40. And this gal hasn't showed up yet, and the cop is still sitting there, and I gotta take a squeege. I mean, I've been drinking beer all damn day. So finally, I find an empty Mountain Dew bottle or something in the vehicle, and I just told myself, I have to do this. I have to execute the in-car whiz. I have to do my best to stay unnoticed by the cop.
Wide mouth?
No.
Those saved me back in the day.
No, it was just your typical.
Oh, that's almost impossible.
That's a tough shot.
So I haul it out.
And I'm small.
I haul it out and I press her. I press it as close as and I just made an unbelievable mess. I had, a little twitch, and it got loose. And then I'm going on my shoes, on my own pants. It got up on the dash. It got on my shirt. It was horrible. Horrible.
Do you think if you were sober it would have been the same, or do you think the drinking had a lot to do with it?
Good question. I think even sober I would have had trouble.
That's what I had assumed.
Because it was ready to go. It's not an easy thing to do.
And you're right. If you've been holding it for a while, that's going to come out quick.
I soak myself and my motor vehicle in urine.
Ah, no.
Here comes Miss Fancy Pants, who promised me a hookup at her apartment. And then the cop leaves. So now, okay, I'm free to get out. But I'm questioning, do I even approach this woman now? I'm covered in my own urine.
No.
I did. I said, yes, I did. I got out, and I don't know. I don't remember if I sold her on any story. I think I just kept my trap shut and hoped
that's what I'd do, yeah.
And hoped that she wouldn't notice, and she didn't. And I'll tell you what, right now, Wapple, are you listening? Mm-hmm. We got it on. Nice. We got it the F on.
See, you and Fancy Pants got it on.
My boy Nick, he can close a deal. It doesn't matter how much urine his or whoever else's is on him. He can close that deal.
Well, look at him.
A lot of people have, it seems like even recently, had to do the same thing and take a leak in their vehicle or go to the bathroom in their vehicle. Steelers fan Jesus said he had somewhat of a same experience just this last weekend. He had to use his truck as an emergency bathroom. He mentioned everything went great until he realized he had nothing to wipe with. Door swinging truck driver Jesus said, now I'm a real trucker now that I peed in my vehicle. Dead hauler Jesus said it's a daily ordeal for him. Atheist Jesus said he pees in a big gulp cup while moving in his garbage truck 5 days a week.
Yeah, if you got a certain type of a gig, driving and such, you got no choice. It's a daily thing.
Catfishing Jesus also appreciates his tint for the same reason. He can take a leak in a Gatorade bottle when he has to.
And, I remember that night I was upset with myself that I couldn't handle the in-car urination in a plastic bottle because when we were little kids, we did it all the time. We'd go on these long fishing trips and whatnot with the old man where we would just be lying in the bed of his pickup. Number one, I'm telling you, our parents, it was always safety first, wasn't it, Josh? Always. We go all the way to Canada, and my brother and I are lying in the back of my dad's, pickup bed. Yes, a topper. Yes, he had created little beds back there for us to sleep on, but it's something that never entered my mind now. But, I mean, for Christ's sake, what if we would have gotten in a terrible car wreck?
Yeah.
We would have been in pieces, for
or
Christ's
even
sake.
just like a deer or something like that, too.
Well, sure, a car wreck, a deer can cause it. But when we were kids, I could ace that every time.
Oh, could you?
The old man would never pull
Even
over.
while going down the road?
Yeah.
Yeah, a few people are saying that you haven't peed in your vehicle until you've tried to do it while driving. Now, that's something I've never done.
No, I haven't tried that.
That would make me a little nervous.
That's truck driver stuff right there. If my old man was still alive, I bet he could tell some stories on that.
And I was thinking back more Bloomington. A buddy of mine, he got a D-dub in Bloomington.
Bloomington sucks.
Last time I was pulled over, knock on wood, it was 1999, but it was in Bloomington. Maybe you're onto something.
I know I am.
Maybe you're onto something.
It's just a shady place, and it makes even straight-laced sumbitches like you, Josh, act shady.
Although, I got to say, their chief is one of the funniest chiefs in the history of police chiefs.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Booker Hodges? Yeah, have you seen? He's kind of he's like one of those Florida sheriffs, right? Like Grady Judd or something like that. Super, super funny dude. I love that guy.
He likes to make cute comments on social media.
Oh, he's awesome. Yeah, he'll post videos, and he loves to just give criminals hell, right? I love that kind of thing.
Yeah, you get a kick out of that kind of a... All right. You heard some television news bloopers to start the program there. A walking, talking television news blooper, Janelle Klein, will be stopping by around 7:30 this morning. She'll be stopping on by. Am I the only one who wonders what she sees in us?
Oh, dude, not at all.
I have no idea.
Since day one. I remember when we first heard she wanted to come on the show, I thought it was a joke. I'm like, Janelle Klein? No way. Yeah, I don't get it.
And she keeps coming back, too.
I know.
She pretty.
Very pretty.
She's well respected in the television news business. She's
classy. She's bright.
Mm-hmm. She's got all her own teeth.
As far as we know.
Josh, you used to be the upstanding citizen on this here radio program, and even though you still live the straightest life of any man I've ever known, Janelle still finds a way to outclass you.
Well, I don't think it's that tough to do. We do joke that we're very similar in a lot of ways. Just our lifestyles.
Yes, you are.
That.
The two of you
attitudes.
are. Ever tell you about the time I met a couple of her guy friends? I mean, this will give you even a better idea of how Janelle's not like the rest of us.
No.
Did I ever tell you about when I met a couple of her guy friends?
No.
Oh, I bet they wear like wingtip shoes. They just got the fanciest hair, nice suits and everything.
I don't know anything about shoes, but wingtip, is that something?
Shoes.
Is that a fancy current thing, or did you just...
It was on Grand Theft Auto. Cost a good couple $100.
Dang.
Okay. So wingtip, I can say that, and people will know I mean classy, pricey.
Yeah, I don't own a pair.
Okay.
I don't own a pair.
Good. It just sounded like something out of 1955 there. Wingtip shoes. I didn't know if it was still... So, yeah, a number of years ago, Janelle and I are texting back and forth like on a Saturday night, and... We found out we were in the same neighborhood. So I said, I'll swing over to where you're at just to say hello. And I walk in, and there's Janelski and two dudes. And the first thing I thought was, what's Janelle doing hanging out with two members of Duran Duran? I mean, like Wapple was alluding to. And some of you who are a little younger are saying, who's Duran Duran? But I couldn't come up with a better, give me an example of a hot boy band.
Today? I don't know.
Sure.
I can't.
We'll stick with Duran Duran.
Or go like NSYNC or Backstreet Boys.
These guys were so perfectly put together. Their hair, their clothes, wingtip shoes.
By the way, you're not wrong, Wapple. I was looking up wingtip shoes. My God, they're expensive.
Yeah, and they're just stupid shoes.
You can always just throw them over your fence line if you get in a tough spot. That's an old story, a reference to an old story where I flipped out over a pair of shoes. Just throw them over your property line, and they're no longer your problem. So I walk into the bar, and here's Janelle standing with these two members of Duran Duran. And when as you might have guessed, when I walked up and said, "What's going on?" to Janelle, they backpedaled like I had a weapon in my hand. Just because they didn't know. She must not have said, "Hey, a friend of mine is stopping by." They were just...
They're used to a higher tax bracket caliber of person.
Yeah. This guy's from the wrong side of the tracks.
I was, filthy and half intoxicated like I was a lot back in those days. At any rate, I ended up having a great time. These guys were very, very nice. Just at first, they just weren't used to something as ugly as I am approaching their friend Janelle. And I think they got a little protective, which I can totally understand. Ended up being nice guys. We had a few Steve Weisers.
Sure. I can't imagine her hanging out with jerks.
No.
Not at all. She's too sweet of a person.
And I think the whole bar was wondering what I was doing mixing with these people. You know what I mean?
I had told you this off air, but I had a recent experience at my son's football. I ended up talking to one of the kids' dads, and it was a lot of fun. He's in a band, and we talked a lot about that kind of thing.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and I told Nick, I'm like, I don't know how to take this, but he's like, hey, I got to be honest. I didn't think I was going to like talking to you. And that just
What does that mean?
I don't know. Cool. I have no idea what that meant.
Judging by your appearance, this guy, he didn't think you'd be fun to talk.
No.
What kind of band is he in?
He's in like a rock band. It's like kind of like lighter rock, it sounds like. But yeah, I didn't fully know what that meant or what kind of vibe I give off. Or why you would say that to another person.
I thought you were going to be a complete dork.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe that was it. I mean, I probably didn't change that opinion, but yeah, that's exactly what he said. I didn't think I was going to like talking to you.
He doesn't like men who wear basketball shorts.
Oh, could be. Yeah,
maybe. I kind of like his honesty.
Oh yeah, well,
you gotta respect
I started laughing.
Yeah.
Maybe he's anti-hoodie.
Oh, if that's the case, right, I'm not your guy.
Yeah, get out of here with that.
This was like 2 days after I was telling you, I met a guy that I don't think he meant to be offensive at all. It was a fun conversation. I like talking to him, but, and he's like, hey, dude, so you're not going to be on the fall cruise? I'm like, no, I got a wedding to go to. And he's like, hey, I don't need the full backstory.
Yeah, that's right.
And then he also said, hey, your picture on the website, was that taken like 20 years ago? You look nothing like the picture on the website.
People are rude.
Wow.
And I don't think he meant to be rude at all.
Well, he was.
It was like a failed attempt to bust balls and try to bond or something?
I'm not even sure really why that happened, but I was cracking up. I got to be honest, I kind of thought you guys were going to suck this morning.
Well, I don't like the way people are talking to you lately, Josh. I don't.
Beef Cannon Jesus said, maybe this dude knows you're in radio and thought you're going to be another radio D-bag. Maybe. I guess I don't know if he knows
that. I could totally understand.
Yeah, that would make sense.
Yeah, maybe that's the case. We didn't talk about anything like that, but maybe he somehow knew. I don't know.
That's like when my old beer league softball and hockey buddy met my brother, my twin brother, and was surprised that it was my twin brother because, quote, he's good looking.
Now,
Blow me, Calvin.
Was he busting your balls?
No. I remember I overheard the conversation. He didn't know I was there.
Oh. Yeah, so it's a little different.
I'll be seeing Calvin on Sunday, and maybe it's time for me to get him back for that. He's just a...
What's the occasion if you don't mind?
He's a terrible person. It's his wife's birthday party.
Oh, nice. Are you having a theme? I know you love themed parties.
You love theme parties.
Are we having a theme? No, I'm going.
That's about it? Nobody's going to dress as Deadpool or Wolverine or anything like that?
God help us, I hope not. I mean, I'm not hosting the party, so I don't control the theme. If I walk up on the scene and there is a theme, I won't be sticking around. Calvin, it's his wife's birthday this weekend, by God. Everyone is invited. I'll see you there.
The half-assed morning show backtracks.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X half-assed morning show. Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Make another smart choice with AutoQuote Explorer to compare rates from multiple car insurance companies all at once. Try it at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
My World with Jeff Jarrett takes wrestling fans behind the scenes, along with King of the Mountain, Conrad Thompson.
Dice Man is here.
How about that? Yeah, I see that. He says Randy Savage attacked Hawk at a Kid Rock concert. I don't know if I'm buying Randy backing down, even at that stage of the game.
He would have never gotten a fight on Universal Studios backlog out of respect from old man. Kid Rock concert, watch out, Hawkster. But here, no, but he ain't backing down.
My World with Jeff Jarrett, wherever you listen.
Half-assed Morning Show. 93X.
Let me ask you something, Josh. Have you ever effed around and then found out?
Plenty of times. I just did over the weekend where I thought I was in good enough shape to help move someone, and my back, I can barely walk still.
You might have done some damage to your lower lumbar.
I did exactly what they say. Lift with your back. Lift with your back.
Right.
I did that.
Put all the weight on your back when lifting.
And so Monday, Saturday is when the move happened. Sunday, it wasn't bad. Monday, it was terrible. It always seems to how it goes, right?
Yeah.
It's like the second day. And then I thought, well, how could I fix this? Well, I might as well carry a mini fridge down 8 flights of stairs on Monday.
Sure.
So I haven't done myself any favors.
You could probably use a 60, 70-pound kid to walk up and down on your spine.
All I've had the last couple days is leftover spaghetti and Advil. That's 2 things that I've been consuming.
That's what the doctor ordered.
That's the hot new slogan. The young people can't stop saying F around and find out. I was wondering if you'd ever, so just this weekend, you effed around, you found out you shouldn't be lifting heavy things, going up the stairs, this and that.
Also tried my hand at my own electrical, if you can call it that, several years ago, where I thought I could probably switch out some light switches. I mean, that's easy enough. And as a newbie, I turned off the power to the circuit, and I start working on it. And this was right at the entrance of a split-level townhouse I was living at. And I never realized there might be 2 circuits hooked up to that same bank of switches. And so when I grabbed one by the sides, right at the screws, I shocked the living bejesus out of me, not realizing that could be a thing.
Did it send you right across to the other side of the room?
No, well, I forgot who I was for a split second.
Yeah.
And it was just like in the cartoons, the little hair I had left was standing straight up and smoke was coming out of my ears.
We'd, of course, love to get our listening audience involved. Text us if you've effed around and then you found out. Our number is 651-989-9393. Otherwise known as you did something that resulted in great regret.
Sure. I've done that with Goldschlager.
Oh, yeah.
Where I thought, well, I could probably drink a gallon of this and be totally fine. That didn't work out so well for me.
Yeah, it could be something you said to someone that backfired. It could be something that you did that backfired. Something you ate, something you drank, any damn thing. You effed around and then you found out.
I effed around and found out about a weed whipper last week. I haven't lived in a house since, I'm living in a house right now with my fiance, but until then, since I moved out of my parents' place, I've been living in apartments. So
sure.
Haven't had to do any lawn care, that type of stuff. Now I have a yard. I got to help take care of it. So the weed whipper is out of like the string, whatever the stuff that spins around.
Sure, again.
Yeah. So I went to Home Depot. I got a new one. I'm like, hey, I found the thing I needed. I put it in. I'm feeling good about myself. I go and kind of gun it a couple times. This thing shot across like a Yager slapper across a yard over like 50 miles an hour. Could have killed a small animal if I would have hit it. It just smashes against the house. Apparently, what I found out is that you should get the right brand weed whipper string for the type of weed whipper you have.
You effed around and found out you're not built for yard work.
Pretty much, yeah.
So wait a minute. So I thought it was all pretty standard. What do you, is that?
No.
I've had weed whippers, and you just go and you get the stuff. Get the orange string, and you're good to go.
I got a different kind, I guess. So I got a Ryobi one. We didn't have a Ryobi one or a weed whipper.
Kenobi.
So it didn't quite fit in there all the way. So the little socket wasn't completely shut, and that's why I just fired off across the yard at 1,000,000 miles an hour.
It was like a IED.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Is that the word?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
That would work.
Yeah, it's like a bomb kind
improvised
of
explosive device.
There you go. That's what I was trying to go for.
I used to landscape, and I remember thinking when I first started, the dude's like, all right, actually, no, this was lawn care, not landscaping. He's like, make sure you put on some eye protection when you weed whip. And I thought, okay, dude, yeah, I think I'll be okay. And I took a rock right to the eye.
Oh, dude,
so now
ouch.
anytime I put on some those clear little work glasses, if I'm going to weed whip.
I'm picturing a kid rolling by on a bike, sees you in the glasses. Nerd!
Oh, man, that's fine. That hurt so bad, and I felt so stupid because I thought, okay, I got this, man.
You weed whipped a rock into your own eye.
Yeah, a little pebble right into my eye.
Again, text us, 651-989-9393. Give us any example of when you effed around and found out.
Big bearded Jared said he water skied Sunday with his little girl and still can hardly move his shoulders. Yeah, I've never water skied, but I'd imagine I'd have quite the death grip out of fear if I was going to try something like that.
I was pretty friggin' good at that when we were young.
Could you do the one ski? Drop the ski and go on another one?
No, my buddies could. I never tried the one ski. Maybe I would have been brilliant at it, but I could do things. I could do friggin' things.
Oh, you're the most athletic person ever. I bet you could do it first shot.
I've never heard you say you weren't the best at something.
What are we talking about?
Anything. You've always said, I used to be the best at this, or I was the best
Well,
at
I never tried it. The one ski.
No, I'm saying water skiing.
Yeah, I was the best.
This person,
isn't that what I said?
Yes, that's what I just said.
I was without a doubt the best.
This person said, I effed around with a can of bug spray and a lighter and found out with a handful of blisters.
Oh. You kept the bug in your hand when you lit it on fire?
I think he's saying that the spray came back at him.
Oh.
Would that be something else if he just held on to the bug and lit it on fire?
I don't know.
The only one I can think of right now off the top of my head, me and my buddy.
Here we go.
When we moved into our house, we got these crappy bed frames from this big box store that you put together yourself that already sucks. And we got drunk. I think it took us about 8 hours to put it together. It was brutal. Do not get drunk and put together furniture.
You know, it wasn't the worst thing in the world. But me and some pals effed around and found out that when you build a fish house in your garage, you can very easily make the mistake of building the house too big to get out of the garage.
Oh, no.
Ridiculous.
That was it was a relatively easy fix. It was more hilarious than anything. But I will never forget, talking to my old man on the telephone. And he says, what are you boys up to? I said, well, we're building a fish house in the garage. And he said, don't build it too big to get out of the garage. And
I said, we know.
And I said, what?
We're not that dumb.
Because my dad made that same mistake when he was a younger guy. He built the fish house in the garage, and once it was time to punch it all together, they realized they couldn't get it. And I said, we're not going to make that friggin' mistake. We did. But that's not anything that, there weren't any real repercussions. I do enjoy reminiscing on that. Probably my ultimate effed around and found out.
I could see anybody making that mistake your first time.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think about something like that.
Probably my ultimate effed around and found out moment was when I effed around mixing hard liquor and drugs before an airplane ride. That's probably, and you all know the story. That is probably, yes, you were, and you saved me from incarceration. That has to be the one in the highlight of my effing around and finding out career.
Wapple, you and I both had the same one. We both took the ride with a taser.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do that again.
No. Okay.
That was way worse than I thought it was going to be.
Well, are you going to try to make up for that bed frame story? Because that kind of sucked.
Yeah, that was terrible.
What do you got?
What was worse, getting shocked by the electrical outlet or the taser?
Taser by far.
Really?
The taser was the most invasive pain I've ever felt my entire life.
Wow.
Yeah, because it
felt like a sewing machine was going at me.
Because it's like in your body, under your skin, and every point of your body.
That sounds absolutely awful.
And outside of like I can't think of anything else where 5 seconds feels longer.
Yep.
That I couldn't believe that was only 5 seconds.
The first second was fine. You're like, oh, this isn't.
The Australian Jesus said in Perth, he unknowingly drag raced a cop at a traffic light.
Whoops.
So the cop had an unmarked vehicle and was baiting him, right? He was revving. And so Australian Jesus thought, okay, I can take this jerkwad. Took off, and it was a cop. That's not fair.
Yeah,
they
that's
have to
not fair
tell
at
you
all.
you're a cop. That's the rule. Bug-Eye Wagon Jesus say he had an affair. Definitely the worst effing around and finding out there can be life lessons learned the hard way. Well, what happened? What was the result of that?
Yeah, man, we need more on that.
Did I give a name out there? No, thank God. I said this person.
Oh.
Okay. They told me not to give a name out, and I thought I just gave it out.
What are you waiting on, Ashley?
There's so many.
That's
Your entire life has been effing around and finding out.
Yeah, the one that popped in my head right away was in high school. It was the homecoming football game, and me and my friends had some drinks. We didn't eat prior to having drinks.
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess when you don't eat, my dad told me this later, they can smell the alcohol a lot better. So I was screaming about, I don't know, football, talking crap about the other people on the other side of the field. And I looked to my right, and there was like a teacher right there. And I got in huge trouble because she smelled the booze on me right away.
Have anybody here ever effed around and found out with someone you thought you could beat up? You get in a fight with someone and
Never
realize
been in a fight.
I am greatly outmatched?
No, usually when I went into a fist fight, Josh, I knew that I was the underdog.
That's maybe the right attitude to have, so you don't underestimate the other person. I never have in a real fight, but I have just messing around, like with my stepson or something like that, where I think, this kid weighs about 100 pounds. I'm going to take him and then realize,
Comes at you like a spider monkey.
I might be in some trouble here.
He hasn't taken you, has he?
No, he puts up more of a fight than I would have thought. I thought I had him a little easier and realized, of course, you have to pretend like this ain't nothing.
Yep.
But there are a couple times I thought, oh, my God, I might not win this one.
You have to start incorporating weapons. That'll help you out.
I don't think you're allowed to do something like that, are you?
Well, he's your kid. You can do whatever you want. That is a great question. Have you effed around and found out in the style of, you bothered somebody, antagonized somebody into a fight, and you had all the confidence in the world that you were going to thrash this poor bastard, and they turned the tables on you? I've never been in that situation. Like I said, if ever I was in a fist fight back in the day, I always thought there's a real good chance that I'm going to get pummeled here. But I did see it happen once to one of my best friends. Oh, man, in high school, he would terrorize this one dude. Talking a lot of trash, insulting this kid. Your typical bully behavior, right? And finally, this kid turned on my pal, and they were squared up to fight. Finally, this kid had enough and faced my pal nose to nose and said, I've had enough. Let's let her buck. And this kid beat the piss out of my bro. I mean, pummeled him. And it was a beautiful thing. It really was. Because even I was tired of the nonsense. You know what I mean? Tired of
humbled him.
Tired of, more than humbled him. By the end of the fight, my buddy, who had spent a full year just torturing this kid, I mean, and that's a dramatic word. You know what I mean? Just, hey, dickhead, hey, loser, all that stuff. By the end of the fight, my buddy extended his hand and said, I'm sorry. And I'll give the other kid credit. He said, dude, I'm sorry too. They shook hands, and that was it was It was pretty glorious to watch, I got to admit.
Oh, here's a good one. Thank you for the reminder. Overly optimistic Vikings fan Jesus said, can you tell the story about how your brother punched you and you fought back? Tears. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. We were arguing. You know, it's especially, it seems like when you're a younger person, you know, you have these opinions and your opinion is the best opinion, whatever. And for me, it was music. Anything with music, I knew what I was talking about. Nobody else did if they disagreed, right? And I feel stupid that I even felt that way. But I remember, like,
I was
middle
the
school,
exact same way.
in middle school and even into high school, I was, you know, these uneducated plebes. They don't even know what they're talking about. That's not music.
Right.
And my brother was into, like, rap and R&B and stuff like that. And at the time, I hated it. You know, I was into metal and stuff. And there was, like, a war, right? And I just couldn't stand it. And we shared a room, so he'd have those posters up. I'd have, like, tapestries of Iron Maiden or Megadeth or whatever.
He had Boys to Men and Jodeci.
Yeah, and like Janet Jackson and, you know, stuff like that. So
She
Boys
looked more
to
like
Men
Freddie Jackson.
Boys to Men is the argument we had.
Oh.
And I was saying how much they sucked. And now I regret it because I realized they're catchy. Right? I regret I was telling them, and I was like, this is me effing around and finding out. I'm like, and we used to get in a lot of fights, but we never punched each other in the face, ever. Balls and face, they were off limits. And so I had said, hey, man, if you're so pissed, why don't you just hit me?
Oh!
You know, put my arms out and everything, like, bring it, thinking, you're not going to do anything. And he socked me right in the jaw. And I was so shocked, I couldn't believe it. And you're right, overly optimistic Vikings fan, Jesus. I almost cried. I was more out of shock that I couldn't believe a brother would punch a brother in the face. Never got him back for that one. I'm just biding my time.
Yeah, there'll be a day.
Right, he can still kick my ass even though he's younger at this point, but there'll become a time where I can get in there.
Josh, back to your scenario about effing around and finding out about, you know, getting in a fight with somebody who you think you can easily take. The only time I've ever really been in a fight, it wasn't really necessarily like a vicious fight, but my freshman year in St. Cloud State, we had a short-lived like fight club type thing in the basement. One kid brought a couple pairs of boxing gloves. We'd go down, he'd challenge a guy, he'd swing away a little bit and be done. And then one kid challenged me. He was the smallest kid in the dorm, probably about 5'5". And, you know, I mean, I'm over 6 feet. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, guy. All right, yeah, sure. I'll go a couple rounds with you, spar a little bit, but I'm not, you know, I don't want to hurt you type of thing. We tapped gloves. Next thing I know, I am being helped off the ground after getting knocked smooth out.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's kind of awesome.
Turns out the kid was like a MMA, jiu-jitsu, every type of combat sport expert and had been training his whole life.
Everybody knows how to fight now.
And he knocked my ass out cold.
This person said the biggest F around and find out is don't mess with a guy with cauliflower ear. Yeah, I would watch that too.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Yeah, I would watch that.
That's a good point.
He ended up winning the fight, but a friend of mine was like a junior gold boxer. I think that's the term. And he was pretty good. And he was getting matched up. I think they were like in St. Cloud or something like that. They're getting ready for this big tournament. And he's looking at the name on the board, and he thought, oh, that's an interesting name. I haven't seen a boxer with that name. And they step in the ring, and he realizes it's a girl. And he's thinking, okay, I'm just going to win on points. I can't hit a girl, whatever. And as soon as they touched gloves, she hit him so hard in the face, he said he saw stars and thought, okay, it's go time. So he ended up winning the fight, but he effed around and found out he totally underestimated her, and I think she wanted to prove a point. And he said that was a powerful punch.
That's a great story.
But especially because he's sitting there going, well, I'll just win this on. This will be an easy one. I'll win on points, and that's that.
Feel free to text us 651-989-9393. We can revisit this later on in the program if we want to. Tell us about when you effed around and found out with the law, or you effed around and found out with a girlfriend, a boyfriend, cheating. Like that earlier story, we want to hear more about that. Dude said he cheated and it was a total disaster. Maybe you effed around and found out with the boss. You effed around with drinking, smoking, coming off cute with the mouth.
I had when we were young guys, a lot of dares, right? It's pretty common.
Mm-hmm.
And you didn't want to back down from a dare. And some guy thought that I couldn't eat a spoonful of horseradish and be okay. Now, so I tried it, and I did everything I could not to throw up every fluid in my body out of that. Everything's pouring out of my eyes. I was sweating my ass off. That was terrible. I found out, don't eat a spoonful of horseradish.
Gross,
you damn non-drinking teens.
Well, those guys did a lot of drugs, but not me. But yeah, horseradish, that was very owie.
Yeah, I guess snorting the dust of Sour Patch Kids. That was terrible.
Yeah, I thought that wasn't going to hurt as bad as it did.
Did it hurt?
Yeah.
Was it just because snorting something hurts or just...
I think it's the sugar and the sourness. I remember just half of my face was just red.
Oh, speaking of faces, Gamer Jesus said he effed around and found out as a child trying to separate two dogs fighting, and he found out by getting 32 stitches in his face.
Oh. 32?
Oh, yeah. I just remembered another one from middle school. We would play this game called Highest Point.
Oh yeah, that game sucked.
And you would take a can and someone would start off and you would karate chop it, and then from there you would find the highest point of the can, and your other buddy would go and chop the highest point. And boy, would you mess up your hand.
Why do dudes like to hurt themselves so much?
Because we're friggin' hard-ons that want to try and prove how tough we are.
Yep.
It's just like the old games of Bloody Knuckles. And what was that knife game?
Oh, yeah.
Five-finger fillet.
Whatever
That's
it was.
what you called it in Red Dead Redemption.
I forgot what we called it.
We called it something different, too.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was called in my neighborhood, but the spread your fingers out with the knife gimmick is stupid.
One of my buddies still does
It's what we do. It's I think what we do to unleash sexual tension. Josh, is that how you define it?
Probably,
those young games we play, dangerous games.
And sometimes you thought, oh, the chicks are going to really be all over me when I try this one.
No.
I remember whenever we'd sit and play those games, usually the girls would leave the room completely, and then we were defeating the purpose of what we thought we were doing in the first place. Here's an entry already on how you effed around and found out. I found out that nearly incapable of getting pregnant does not equal incapable of getting pregnant.
No.
Oh,
Job hopping Jesus. I'd love more information on this. She texted and said, as a fifth grader who didn't take it seriously, I was threatened by the Secret Service.
Oh, wow.
I'm sorry.
Oh, this is vertically challenged Jesus.
Probably made a threat online, yeah.
Yeah, she must have something, I guess.
Said something, and the Secret Service had to contact her as a fifth grader.
As a fifth grader.
That must have been cute, whatever you said on MySpace that day. Yeah, a good friend of mine found out that nearly incapable of getting pregnant does not equal incapable of getting pregnant. The wife kind of misled him on the whole birth control thing. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's not right.
And he told me straight up, I thought this was quite funny, when his final child was born, that he thought they were done, right? He thought they were done. We're done having kids, right? He says to the wife, and she says, oh, yeah, I'm loaded up on birth control. There ain't a damn thing to get me pregnant, right? Well, she ends up pregnant.
You know,
when that final child was born, he straight up told me, he said, I'll always care for the kid. I will. But I won't love the child, and I'll always make sure that he knows that he was totally unnecessary.
Oh, that's a beautiful story.
Yeah. Yeah.
Heartwarming.
It started out kind of nice. I'll always care for the kid, and then it really took a turn there.
Mm-hmm. Be kind and rewind. The Half-Assed Morning Show Rewind.
The handsome, successful, and very knowledgeable Dr. James Parnell. He's gone ahead and joined us in studio. Text us, 651-989-9393, if you've got something wrong with you. Good morning, Dr. P.
Good morning, folks.
How you doing, man?
I'm doing okay. I was wrestling to get here with apparently a whole slew of people headed to the fair.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, we're right there.
Yeah, I didn't realize how close this was.
You jumped on 280, didn't you?
I did. It was, a serious mistake.
Brutal.
Especially because I had to get off this exit.
It's almost always a mistake if you're on 280 going in either direction. It is.
Okay, no, I'll remember that.
That's the way I go to and from work, and you're right. I mean, and like on the way home yesterday, it was packed.
I was like, what? There's never any traffic. What is going on?
Everyone's going to the fair because they know Dr. P's joining us at the booth today.
I wish.
You can't make it? No.
I mean, I guess I could quit my job right now.
That works. Who needs a job?
Actually, we were joking about that earlier, Dr. P. I met you in a bowling alley.
Oh.
And we were...
That's true.
Remember? We were raising some money for veterans, and you were nice enough to stop by.
Yeah.
And we're hanging out, and then you mentioned you're a doctor, and if you've ever like a doctor segment, I'd love to do it. And that was how many years ago?
That was 8 years ago.
8 years ago. Okay, I thought it was like 5 or 6. So 8 years ago. And I don't remember how it came up, but we're wondering, what if you're really not a doctor? I just believed you on day one. And you've been fooling us for almost a decade.
I think you would have to go down as the most brilliant actor to ever live.
It would have to be. That's like a movie.
Yeah, that would be like DiCaprio, whatever movie he was.
Catch Me If You Can.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So I was saying, if and now we know you can't make it, that's cool. You got to work. I was saying, if you were to join us at the fair, maybe next Friday you can. I'm rooting for someone to be in need of medical assistance.
And I go, I'm out of here.
Is there a doctor in the house?
To see if you can. I want to see if you can really.
You want to see me in
handle
action?
your business. Yeah.
And I was thinking about it. You see this right here? You see that?
An apple?
This is an apple.
Yes.
I have one every day, yet here you are. And if you were a real doctor, as
I
the saying
wouldn't
goes,
be here.
you would be kept away.
Unbelievable.
Oh boy.
So we're getting texts here for you, as we do when you're here.
We get a lot of texts.
We do. So thank you for coming in, and thank you for those that have texted in.
Josh gets $1 every time we get a text.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, at Fridays it's $2. It's double time. So this person says they are a drug addict.
Oh my God.
Meth, 20 years. Said, I can't remember the last time I went a day without. I do have a normal life, 2 full-time jobs, family, 3 kids that I love and spend as much time with as I can.
What the hell?
I want to quit, but I'm terrified my body and mind won't be okay without. I'm 43. I've never told anyone this. Should I tell my doctor? I can't go to treatment. I can't afford to take time off of work. And currently I'm the only one at my work that can do my job. So how bad do you know? I don't know how much you know about meth withdrawal or...
I honestly don't know a lot about meth withdrawal. I mean, it's it's not something you hear people trying to get off of very often, unfortunately.
Yeah, 20 years every day.
I guess,
and they're able to maintain a life like that.
And that's unusual, I think, with meth. I mean, I think there's plenty of other drugs that people can, including alcohol, where you can get along. And
I've heard of plenty of functioning alcoholics.
Yeah.
I haven't heard of too many functioning methamphetamine addicts.
I haven't either. But as far as I know, so alcohol withdrawal and withdrawal from medications like Valium and Xanax, those can kill you. So those have to be done in a controlled way, or withdrawal from other, from opioids, or whether it's prescription pills that are obtained by prescription or illegally, or whether it's heroin. You can withdraw and get off of that, but you don't die. I mean, you're miserable. So I think methamphetamine would be more like cocaine, and again, you won't die from it, but it's horrible. The odds of someone being able to get off that on their own seems so small, and I think even though it sounds, they have lots of reasons why they don't want to go to their doctor, go to treatment. I think it's the only way you can effectively get off that is to pause your life for a little bit. You may not have to be out of work forever, but you at least need to be in a controlled program. Doesn't mean you have to be inpatient.
Right.
It means you can be working with a doc that can help you with.
I bet that's going to be tough.
It's going to be really tough, but that's, again, I haven't really heard of anyone using it that long and having things in their life still be held together.
Hey, man, to the texter, good for you for reaching out.
Yeah.
Good for you for even asking about it.
I think
I have no idea what's ahead of you, but we got your back. That's an absolute first during a doctor segment. We've never had anyone text in anything like that before.
And I've got some good news. So our buddy, Big Bearded Jared, a long-time member of the Brotherhood, awesome dude. His wife, I didn't realize this. I knew she was in medical. I didn't know what she did.
Yeah.
She's an addiction specialist, and so he gave me her information, and I will text this person back.
Great, yeah. That's the thing. There's plenty of addiction specialists, in the Twin Cities.
And they're great at what they do.
And they are. It's and you need that. It's sort of giving me goosebumps thinking about this, because this is really, this is powerful stuff. But
I'm no doctor, but I sadly, a couple of my family members suffer with addiction, and I have always heard or learned that it is dangerous to quit cold turkey, but that's, I'm sure you guys have heard about it. We've talked about it before. That's why they have Suboxone, which it like tapers you off of it. It's essentially like a small dosage of meth.
Yeah, that's what they give them in treatment if they're having really, really bad withdrawals.
Well, obviously, see your doctor and ask about that before you take it.
You only can get it from your doctor. Yeah.
This is great. Now, a lot of people, to this person who texted that in and shared that with us, again, thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah.
You're getting a lot of support from the Brother and Sisterhood. One person in particular said, I know plenty of people who have used things like that for 20 years and who have kicked it successfully. So they're saying there's a good chance you'll do the same.
What an interesting text. Absolutely interesting text.
Yeah, good luck. And I think, the first step is admitting it, and probably the second step is asking for help. So
here's a text message for Dr. P. Jesus, who's visiting us here on the Half-Assed Morning Show. It says here, Dr. P, I'm 37. I don't smoke. Lame. I exercise daily. Dork. But my blood pressure is consistently 140/80. Is this just genetic, or could there be something wrong? I don't know anything about blood pressure, except for the fact that whenever I have my blood pressure taken at the doctor's office, they always say that I win.
You win.
They always say that my blood pressure is terrific. So is that wicked high, 140/80?
No, it's not terrible. I mean, 120/80 is sort of the traditional, cutoff for normal. Below that is absolutely fine, unless it's incredibly low for some reason. To technically make the diagnosis of, you can debate about it a little bit, but 140/90, whether it's the top number or the bottom number or both, if you're consistently above that, that's when you start to make the diagnosis of hypertension. And for plenty of people, their lifestyle, their habits, all that makes a difference and can control things. But there are plenty of people that inherit some tendencies to have high blood pressure. And then there are some medical problems that can lead to it. A variety of things, but at that number, it's not like we would be necessarily looking for these unusual causes, such as you can have a thing called a pheochromocytoma, which is basically a adrenaline secreting tumor, which can sort of sit on top of your kidney in the adrenal gland. You can have low blood flow to your kidneys that causes sort of reflexive elevations in blood pressure, but usually those numbers are quite a bit more elevated. And they don't respond to medications.
You're not going to drop your beer if you read someone's blood pressure 140/80.
No. I think it's...
And you shouldn't be drinking in the office as a doctor.
We told you a couple times, man.
That's true, right.
I mean, I'm not, like Ashley, I'm not a doctor, but it seems like you shouldn't.
Right. Lesson learned. Shouldn't have the beer in my hand.
What's going on? I'm sorry.
Yeah, no. So I think it's not terribly concerning. It's something to keep an eye on.
So what would you say? So if somebody came in, they had that, you saw that, what would you say to that person? I mean, would you say something like, hey, we noticed this, or is it insignificant enough that you might not even mention it?
Well, I mean, no, you mention it, but again, 140 over 90 is barely kind of getting...
Over 80 it was, just to be
140/80 is really barely getting into any kind of worrisome level at all. So,
well, like I mentioned, this guy doesn't smoke and he works out, so he's probably, he's a little too worried about things.
Yeah. But, following up in 6 months or a year. I mean,
he's too straight-laced.
Would you recommend he stop working out and start smoking?
Generally not.
Live a little, for Christ's sake.
No.
Live a little.
What's going on, brah? Jesus said he cracked his ribs 5 weeks ago. When he eats, his left side hurts a lot. Is that something to worry about?
He eats his ribs?
I love ribs.
I do too.
How much for one rib?
How much for a rib?
You have any idea?
I don't. 5 weeks ago, so...
I mean, I've always heard that takes a long time to get back to normal.
His left side hurts?
The left side.
Yes, left
and
side.
Presumably that's the side he broke the ribs on.
I would imagine so.
Ouchie.
I guess I'm not sure why eating would...
Well, maybe because he cracked a rib?
Right, but just... I mean, I guess if you really fill up your stomach and stretch your rib cage a little bit, but that's a little unusual. But absolutely, rib injuries take a long time. I mean, for bones to heal for most adults, it's probably at least 6 weeks or so. The ribs, because they're moving, maybe it's a little bit different. But the soft tissue injury, the reason we eat ribs is because they have, not human ribs, but is because they have muscle between them, and that gets torn or injured when you have broken ribs. So all sorts of activities could make it worse. I guess I would just wonder if there's something else going on causing discomfort with eating, related to reflux, acid, those kinds of things. But assuming it's related to the ribs, it's probably a few months before things really feel better.
Well, by God.
I have a buddy of mine broke his ribs snowboarding at too accelerated of an age. You probably should be snowboarding at his age.
Tell us about that buddy that removed one of his ribs and why.
Well, actually, you might know him. Have you heard of Marilyn Manson?
Marilyn Manson.
Yeah, he used to star in the Wonder Years.
I'm sorry, go ahead. Your buddy did what?
Oh, so he broke some ribs and more. I actually have mentioned this before, and Dr. P, you said he should have died. It was like a car accident, basically. He decided to crash into a boulder while snowboarding.
His injuries sounded like
Were you there to see that?
high-speed car crash.
No, but I saw the aftermath. So, he's a stubborn fella, and he works in construction and decided, I'm just going to keep working, right? And I'd see him, and he was doing some stuff at my house, and just lifting something, or he'd be in the middle of, and he'd have to stop in the middle of a conversation. It just, he had a couple of stingers there that got him pretty good.
Yeah, and obviously doing activities like that after rib injuries makes a lot of sense. It's just the eating part's a little confusing, but no, it's
his coworkers hate him.
bad.
That's unrelated.
Hate his guts.
That's not related
before
at all.
and after.
Even
injuries.
more so after. Yeah.
Nice.
I wandered through the state fair yesterday afternoon and last evening with my friggin' wife. We did walk through the Care 11 health zone or something, right? We wanted to see if they'd try to keep us. And one of the tests you can take, I think you can go in there and get your blood pressure checked and your hearing and sight and things like that. One of the little booths you can stop by in there was a memory assessment. And we have received a text from a listener that says, and there's not a lot of information here, and I don't know, how learned you are. Well, you know every damn thing. I have a memory problem, says this listener. As bad as where I forget how to say words or what I did just 3 days ago. That's all the information that's given us. I don't know if you'd have any thoughts on such a thing.
I had the same thing for about 2 weeks. It was a weird deal.
You did?
Yeah.
Same. Is this when you had that dolphin flu or whatever the hell almost killed you?
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's what was going on or what, but to the point where I was very concerned. Words too. Were easy words I couldn't come up with.
I recall.
See, I have that problem every friggin' day. But
every once in a while you still have that kind of thing, but it was to the point where it wasn't normal. It wasn't like what you'd expect. It happens a couple times a week here and there. It was happening so often that my wife was looking at me like, what is going on?
What do you know about the human brain and the ability to remember?
Well, it's
remember.
I forgot that one.
Yeah. Oh, that's hard to remember. There's a lot of. Where do we start with that? Probably the biggest thing is, what is the pattern? Have you been normal until a few days ago, and suddenly you are having troubles? Were you recently ill? Have you had medication changes?
Recently lose a kickboxing world title match or something? Yeah.
So basically, is there something? For changes that happen quickly, over days, probably weeks, or even days or weeks, certainly. It's going to be an illness of some type, whether it's an infection, whether it's something weird with your sodium levels in your blood. Basically, your blood's kind of diluted because of medications or an illness, and we would call that more like delirium, basically, as opposed to dementia. So delirium can happen for all sorts of reasons. We see it a lot in people who end up in the hospital, and it's sort of fluctuating levels of ability to engage and remember things and communicate, versus dementia, which typically happens over years, and that's going to be things like, Alzheimer's is sort of the prototypical one, but that definitely happens over years. There can be dementia with Parkinson's. There can be dementia related to multiple small strokes in the brain. that happen over long periods of time.
That's all really important. Yeah,
it is.
This individual should go to see his doctor and talk about the pattern. Has anything changed?
Yeah. And usually it's really good to have someone go with you because, especially if you're aware that you're already having trouble, that means you've probably been having trouble longer. And so your spouse, your children, a friend, some other people who can give information to the doctor is helpful. And then there are. I mean, I'm not sure what they're doing at the fair for a quick screening, but it's probably...
We were afraid to ask, actually.
Yeah.
We were.
Don't want to be diagnosed.
No.
It's probably just some quick questions about, like the president, your county,
right.
Doing some quick number things in your head, maybe almost like a couple word memory games, spelling things, and, that's kind of a standard little... mini mental status exam.
That's really interesting.
Would you recommend, like what we did with the kids when they were little and we go someplace like the fair, that he writes down his mom's name and number on his arm?
Might not be a bad idea.
I thought I was maybe a week away from that, having some issues.
But now you're better? Now it's not happening?
Yeah, it's not happening. And I don't. It could be a coincidence. I mentioned this before. I'm always wary to mention anything like this because it could be a pure coincidence. My wife said, try some creatine, heard that it kind of helps your brain a little bit. And at that time, I don't know if it worked or if it was a coincidence, but something has worked.
Have you and your wife been playing that friggin' suffocation game that I warned you about?
Space Monkey.
You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, it's not a game.
Yeah, to some of us, it's not a game.
No, it's a lifestyle. Dr. P. Jesus, thank you very much to our listening audience for your great text messages asking about your health issues. Dr. P. is doing a great job again, trying to help folks out best he can.
Also, thanks for supporting each other. A lot of people, for some of these people, text in, hey, here's my experience, and everything from you'll do okay to this is what I recommend. So
yeah, it really is true. It's an incredible resource, your listeners.
We got time for a couple more. Here's one for you, Dr. P. A listener wants to know, have you heard of the quit drinking pills? Do you know anything about them, the quit drinking pills?
Well, I guess I'm not sure which one they're talking about.
Yeah.
There are at least 2, if not maybe 3 versions of quit drinking pills. Actually, maybe 4.
Really?
Yeah. The harshest one is one that doesn't get used very much anymore. I believe the old brand name was Antabuse, and basically, if you take that pill.
My uncle went to jail for that.
Antabuse.
Oh, no. Oh, that's too bad.
Yeah.
God, you're quick. That one makes you physically sick, like really sick, if you take it and drink alcohol. So as you can imagine, people aren't too motivated to take it. So that's one that doesn't get used too much. But then there's one like naltrexone, which is basically a medication that can help decrease cravings, and cravings have to do with typically like the dopamine system in our brain, where it can get involved in all sorts of things. But anything that leads to addiction, typically you get little dopamine releases when you participate, would drink it, do the drug, whatever it is, and then you crave more and more. And so that kind of medication essentially blocks that system to some degree, and that can help. And then there are combination medications that involve naltrexone and some other things. Sometimes maybe an anti-seizure medicine. So there's a bunch of things out there.
I had never heard of but a quit drinking pill.
Yeah. And there's one other one, which I'm completely not thinking of the name of it right now, where it really, specifically blocks the effects of alcohol. And
what do you mean? So it keeps you from getting drunk?
It definitely takes the joy out of it. And I think...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
It's a joyful thing to get drunk. Yeah. I don't want someone to take the joy out of it.
Right. So there are a bunch of different ways to do it.
Huh.
And I think, it's the same as with smoking. There are different things to look at and talk about as to what you need to do to stop. So some of it is physical addiction with tobacco or alcohol. Some of it is just habit. I wake up and I smoke a cigarette.
Right.
I wake up and I have a shot of whiskey before I go to work, or I come home. I mean, more commonly, I come home and I have a bottle of wine, and then maybe another half a bottle of wine, because that's how I relax.
God, it feels good. Yeah.
Yeah, and so it's that's where counseling, medication, commitment to change, all that makes a difference.
Sure.
But for some people, some of those medications can help. But again, typically working with an addiction specialist of some type is probably going to be your best bet to actually overcome things, because they're going to look at the whole picture and figure out what's going to work best for you.
Exactly. How about a complicated text, Dr. P?
Sure.
With some terms in here that I will likely fail in clarifying. Question for Dr. P. I was put on 6.25 milligrams of carvedilol. Okay? For SVT. Now, before we go any further, say that professionally.
Carvedilol?
Carvedilol. For SVT. What is SVT?
Supraventricular tachycardia. So
a heart problem.
A heart problem, heart rhythm problem.
Okay. This was a week and a half ago. They have SVT and they have BP as well. What is BP?
It's a gas station, I think.
BP?
Okay. We'll just move on. Okay, I was put on this carvedilol for SVT a week and a half ago. Can I get into some beers tonight without dying?
Oh, okay.
Is it not a good idea to mix alcohol with these heart medications?
It would definitely never be part of the recommended treatment strategy. So
there you go, dude. That's probably all you need to know.
I mean, basically, we could explain quick. I mean, actually, this sort of sounds similar to what you have dealt with, Nick.
Yes.
Carvedilol is another name for it is Coreg, and it's a newer generation of beta blocker.
Okay.
Which
I've been taking that for 32 years, beta blocker.
Atenolol and propranolol are the ones that are more common, and basically it just kind of slows down your heart rate a little bit. It lowers your blood pressure a little bit, and it tends to sort of decrease or pad down those spikes of abnormal rhythms. But yeah, I mean, if you're trying to control those episodes, that medication is going to help. I would say alcohol could easily precipitate some of those episodes. So
and don't mess around with it then.
Yeah.
Sorry, dude, you're driving tonight.
Yep.
You're our designated driver.
Drive to the fair, baby.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fair-related question here. A fair-related text message for Dr. P. Dr. P, I'm not feeling very well this morning. You probably want to know more information as to what they've been up to, right?
It's gonna help. Yeah.
I'm not feeling.
What's your first thought?
I'm not feeling very well this morning, and I have a lot of gas.
Pregnant. Oh, sorry.
A lot of gas and a headache. Here's what they were up to yesterday. They were at the state fair. They had garlic fries, fried pickles, an oofda taco, Reuben bites, roasted corn on the cob, cheese curds, mini donuts, several beers.
Oh, man.
They should feel perfect. That doesn't make any sense.
This is a medical mystery, isn't it?
It is. What could possibly be
and
causing
several beers.
Oh.
That sounds like a fun day, though.
I have gas and a headache.
Which of those is most likely to cause problems?
Oh,
do you think?
that sounds wonderful.
That's quite a selection, though.
Yes.
Another eating-related one. This person says, I do lawn care. Almost every day after lunch, I get lightheaded and a little woozy as I'm working my way through. It mostly happens when it's hot outside. I'm always drinking a lot of water, so I don't think it's dehydration. What could cause this?
Well,
too big of a lunch, maybe.
That was my first thought.
Too little of a lunch, maybe.
Maybe too little.
I mean, it could be related to eating. Obviously, if you're working outside in the heat and you're feeling woozy and lightheaded, you worry about heat-related illness. I would typically expect that to get worse as the afternoon goes on and sort of accumulate from day to day. But they said every day that happens?
Yeah, it seems that way. Yep.
Get a desk job.
Yeah, I mean, boy, again, worrying about heat-related illness, but again, you would expect
somebody doping his lunch.
Yeah.
I get woozy every time I drink with this guy.
Oh, he's getting poison.
Are you having alcohol for lunch? That'd be another. Yeah, right. Do you trust your coworkers?
Food coma.
Do you have a wife and is she happy?
Yeah, but I mean, it could be. If you eat a pretty big lunch, I mean, basically that diverts quite a bit of blood flow to your gut, which has to digest things, and that if you are really working hard outside in the heat, I think that often will make you feel kind of lousy. And then, as you digest a bit, the blood can kind of go back to where it should be and make you feel better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess.
God,
I'm not sure.
That reminds me. Is everyone here familiar with the Dairy Queen menu?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Do they still serve the ultimate burger?
That I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
30 years ago, I worked a warehouse job with this dude. And for lunch, we always went to Dairy Queen because it was right across the damn highway and because it's friggin' delicious, right? And my coworker would get the ultimate burger was a big fat-ass burger. Every day he'd get the ultimate burger, a damn bucket of onion rings, and a large Blizzard.
Yum, dude.
And I was like the foreman of this warehouse, so I knew he would be worthless after lunch because he'd just be in this massive food coma and unable to do anything physical. So we'd go to lunch the next day at Dairy Queen, and he'd say, yeah, I'll take the and I'd say, no, not the damn ultimate burger. You're going to be garbage again.
I need you to do some
but
stuff
it was
this
so
afternoon.
friggin' good. And of course,
that sounds awesome.
Oh, Cubby, it's one of the, if they still have it, it's one of the best I've ever.
I don't think I could do a Blizzard anymore.
Oh, the
Really?
large one?
Especially the large one.
No.
Just all the dairy?
What's that?
Just because the dairy upsets your tummy?
Yeah. I'll tell you, back in the day, we'd hit up Subway, and then across the street there was a Dairy Queen. And that was like the bomb. It'd be the same thing. You go get the world's largest sandwich and then the world's largest Blizzard.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yum.
I looked up the calories on a large Blizzard, depending on what you have in it.
It'll take you a while to get through all those numbers.
It's at least 1,200 calories.
Yeah, it's up there.
That sounds great to me.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'm not going back to work. If I'm eating a large anything these days, I'm not going back to work. I'm going to take a nap.
Do you mind one more? Hopefully this is a quick one.
No,
I
go ahead.
don't know if you've ever heard this before. I'm sure you have. This person says, I've been having a fluttering sensation in my bladder area for a few months.
Oh, you swallowed an insect or something.
It's a moth, isn't it? It's a bladder moth.
It's laying eggs on your kidneys.
Yep.
Ooh.
It's a rat or a gerbil or something, and it's eating its way out of your body.
Yeah. I would think. Yeah,
That's got to be it. We'll see you guys on Monday.
Yeah. Fluttering sensation in bladder. I'm not sure. That would require a lot more questions because
bladder wasp.
Is it uncomfortable? Is it spasm, bladder spasms? Does it say whether it's a man or a woman? Or?
It does not say.
Okay.
It's a 612. Does that do anything for you? Probably
well, that's definitely
not.
more likely to be a female, right? No.
Hey, I'm a 612.
No, I am too. But I'm not going to give you my number. No. I don't know. With guys, we always think prostate. With women, they don't have a prostate, so we don't think prostate. But yeah, I mean, bladder spasms are the things that come to mind. But again, those are pretty uncomfortable. So,
like, what would cause a bladder? Let's say that's what it is. What would cause something like that?
Bladder spasms would cause bladder spasms.
Oh, is that what causes it? Is that like a?
Well, I mean, it could be a urinary tract infection.
Oh man, those are awful.
There's why am I completely blanking? A type of cystitis where people just have annoying symptoms with their bladder, and that's kind of common. I mean, a sexually transmitted disease is on the list. Again, it's
maybe they're
congratulations.
A whore.
Right?
Maybe they're a what?
They might be a whore.
That's terrible.
Is there a whore listening?
It could just be gonorrhea proliferating.
My wife just turned off the radio.
Yeah, she doesn't like whores, man.
Tell you what.
She hates them.
We're due at the fair in 58 minutes.
Okay.
We wish you were coming with us, Dr.
I
P.
wish I
Jesus.
was too.
But maybe next Friday.
Yeah. I'll try to work that out.
Yeah, if you can, great. If not, you're not that important.
Oh, I know. I agree.
But we appreciate everything you've done again this morning on the program. You've done a wonderful job.
Always good to be here.
Yeah.
Nice
Thanks,
to see
Dr.
you.
P. Have a great weekend.
You're listening to the 93X Half-Assed Morning Show Backtracks.
There's a douchiness to them.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Do you ever think about switching insurance companies to see if you could save some cash? Progressive makes it easy to see if you could save when you bundle your home and auto policies. Try it at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Afford Anything talks about how to avoid common pitfalls, how to refine your mental models, and how to think about how to think.
How would a person buy their time?
There are technology hacks. There's, of course, income hacks. There's outsourcing. If you have the means, now it's time to take the action and outsource. If you don't have the means, you can't afford to buy back your time. This is the whole point. We want you to stop buying silly objects and start saving so you can get to the position to do these things.
Make smarter choices and build a better life.
Afford Anything, wherever you listen.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show.
It's a complete crap.
Randy Shaver texted in last night and said he's very sick.
Yeah, that came in very late last night.
And unavailable this morning.
It's too bad.
It's kind of funny, actually.
I don't find that very funny.
So, I mean, the pressure is on the lonely boy like maybe it's never been before.
No, not really.
You don't care.
No. I've been in this position before. It's fine.
You don't friggin' care. And you have been in this position before, and you have thrived. I got to ask you a question. It's not sports related. It's Friday. You know, who cares? It's an F-off day for the most part. So I'm going to go this way first with you, Brad Ryder. You know what Josh just told us a few minutes ago, and it really grabbed me. I hope a few of the rest of you has taken interest in it as well. Josh was talking about what? Okay, it was 25 years ago today that Creed, a band that a lot of people enjoy kicking the hell out of as often as they can, kind of like Nickelback, Creed. People love to make fun of Creed. 25 years ago, they put out a record called I'll Bury You in Clay. What was it called? Human Clay. And that record sold 22 million copies?
20 million worldwide.
20 million worldwide. Did you buy that record, Brad Ryder? Josh did.
No.
You never got into Creed?
No, I really didn't. I never got into Creed, really. No.
Was I the only one who was totally taken by surprise that that band sold 20 million copies of one of their records?
It shocked me. I knew people were like in love with them. But
well, yeah, everybody knew that.
To that degree.
They're very much a band that has that cult following, and people will buy their stuff no matter what.
Is that right?
I think so. I mean,
That's what I always thought.
Their guitar player, especially Mark Tremonti, he's incredible. He is such a good guitar player.
So I had to look this stuff up. I just had to look up, you know.
You get obsessed.
what kind of company does that put them in? 20 million records sold. Not career. One record selling 20 million. So, you know, there's varying reports on this. Tell me if any of you have these records.
Now, do you have the worldwide? Because that's the number we're talking about here, worldwide.
I think so. I think so, yeah. Back in Black by AC/DC has sold 49 million copies.
Ooh, wow.
Of course, the untouchable of all time is friggin' what's his name again? He died.
Michael Jackson.
Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Thriller. What did he reach there? I don't know.
70 million worldwide.
Yeah, that's what I have here. 70 million.
It's amazing.
And then, according to a lot of the lists I saw, next up is Back in Black from AC/DC. 50 million, 49 million. There's, like I said, there's conflicting reports. And then you go, Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd, 45 million copies. Anybody who's not looking at it, you want to take any? Brad Ryder, guess some other records you think might be in that kind of company.
Oh, let's see. A group. Well, I like this group, so I'm just going to throw it out there. And they're kind of an all-timer group that has sold a lot of records. The Eagles, are they on there?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Yes, their greatest hits compilation, which was released in 1976, has sold over 40 million copies. Yes, good guess, the Eagles. Meatloaf, Bat Out of Hell, 1977, with 2 out of 3 Ain't Bad and Paradise by the Dashboard Lights, 43, I think, million copies.
Is there a Linkin Park album on there?
Oh, I don't see a Linkin Park record anywhere near this kind of company.
Yeah, Linkin Park is too close to the digital age to.
I'm sensing a lot of late 70s, early 80-ish type things on this list, and I think it's because obviously you had to buy the record.
That'll never happen again.
No, that's what I'm saying. That'll
Exactly.
never happen now.
Exactly.
It'll be streams, right? They'll just say it had a billion streams or whatever.
Late 70s into the 80s, I mean, that was the number one pastime in America, was buying records, buying cassette tapes, whatever was available. I mean, I'm sorry I blew up, but I do take interest in this stuff. Every once in a while, you forget. I mean, just how massive some records were. I'm seeing some texts come in. Slippery When Wet from Bon Jovi. Yes, 28 million copies of that friggin' album. Appetite for Destruction. If we're just talking about rock records, Appetite sold 28 million, just like Slippery When Wet. Nevermind by Nirvana, 30 million. Alanis Morissette and that Jagged Little Pill. Boy, I got sick of that.
Oh, I love that.
33 million copies. Led Zeppelin, what is...
Taylor Hawkins. That's how I became familiar with him.
Yeah.
Going to that
And you know what you're not mentioning is like the Beatles, and they were massively popular, but again, they didn't really hit the scene when people were buying a lot of records.
Well, the Beatles are in here too, Brad Ryder. They have the 7th highest-selling rock record of all time with the Sgt. Pepper's By Damn Lonely Hearts Club Band. They sold 32 million, but you're right, in the 60s it wasn't...
Yeah.
You know, hell, in the 60s, some parents said to their children, no, I'm not giving you the money for that record. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Where's Elvis?
I don't see Elvis in here.
Oh, that's surprising.
Yeah, very surprising.
But again, like to our point, maybe that was before records were just a must. And the way they released records were different back then too, Josh. You know, albums weren't so much of a big deal as it was a single.
Yeah, the 45s.
Right.
This quick Google says Elvis Presley, everything he released has sold over 1 billion.
Yeah.
Over 1 billion records.
Okay.
Yeah, I suppose.
And Michael Jackson was in the 100 and some million. He was way up there, too, if you consider everything he's put out.
Yeah, but, you know, it wasn't, right. Elvis records, it wasn't like
and again, this is worldwide.
Yep. There you go. There's some interesting characters in here on these all-time lists. I mean, Shania Twain had a record that sold 30 million copies.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Led Zeppelin, of course, had a couple in there. Celine Dion had a record that sold 21 million copies. I wouldn't know Adele if she was kicking my ass.
Oh, I love
Adele. But she has a record that sold 27 million. Metallica is in there, and, of course, they're in town this weekend. Their first of 2 shows is tonight. Their 1991 record, the Black Album, sold 22 million copies.
I'm being, I was going to say forced, but that's not the right word. I'm gladly going to an Adele concert with my wife in a few months.
You're going to see Adele in concert?
Oh, where's that at?
Yeah,
in Vegas.
I thought she was doing a residency.
Yeah, so last March, actually last Christmas, I bought that for my wife for Christmas because she's always wanted to see her.
Well, tell me then, if she was kicking my ass, what song might she be singing?
Don't ask me.
What song, Josh?
I don't know if it's called Hello, but
yes, it is.
Is it called Hello?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That's the one that
You've
they
probably
played
heard
on the
it before.
radio, yeah. That's me and my dad's artist together. We used to listen to her all the time.
Creed actually are in town tomorrow. Well, they're Treasure Island.
Mm-hmm. Oh, right. Yeah. I got a couple texts on that. All right, so, you know, we don't have to spend all day on this. I got excited. But, you know, throughout this list of biggest selling albums ever, there's a lot of powerhouse acts. Michael Jackson, AC/DC, Whitney Houston, Pink Floyd, Eagles, folks you'd expect to hear from. Bee Gees, my God, massive.
Oh, I love the Bee Gees.
Who doesn't? If you don't love the Bee Gees, there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
The one that grabbed me, I mean, I guess aside from Adele, just because I'm not familiar at all with who that is, I was trying to find the one that would surprise you. Bob Marley, okay, yeah, he was wildly popular all over the world.
Blind Melon.
Blind Melon, where are they?
Just kidding.
The massive record that grabbed me, 20 million copies, someone called Norah Jones. Anybody?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, what's her song?
Heard the name.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm imagining you here. She's like a pianist, right? Kind of very good at piano.
It says here in the year 2000 plus 2, someone called Nora Jones had a record that sold 20 million copies.
She does a lot of Christmas stuff, it looks like.
What a life, Brad Ryder. I mean, consider Metallica, who's, like I said, in town tonight, and then they play another show. So consider that life. Cut a record. Sell 20 million copies of the damn thing, whether you deserve it or not. And you're just on easy street until the day that you die.
Well, do that a few times.
Right.
Think about it. Yeah.
And but you don't have to do it a few times. Oh, here's what's your name again? Ashley. Linkin Park Hybrid Theory did sell 17 million records. Nice. I never could have told you that either, just like the Creed thing. Never could have guessed that.
What's another obscure name on that list, or did you go through?
No. I could go back and find another obscure name. Well, there's a couple of soundtracks. There's Grease and there's Titanic.
The Bodyguard soundtrack, too.
The Bodyguard? Why does that not grab me? What is The Bodyguard?
Whitney Houston.
I Will Always Love You. Yeah, that's it. Just call it a Whitney Houston record.
Yeah.
You know. One that might surprise you. I don't know. Tell me if this surprises you. 1999, Carlos Santana had a record called Supernatural that sold over 20 million copies.
Yeah.
That was huge.
I was going to say, I bet there's some artists on there that we've never heard of from, like Mexico or something like that most people don't.
I was trying to figure out if there was like maybe a one-hit wonder on there.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
They literally had one hit on the record that was
Vanilla
good.
Ice.
Everything else was garbage, and they sold 20 million.
Vanilla Ice could be it. Did you see that, or you're just guessing?
No, I'm guessing Vanilla. When you mentioned a one-hit wonder that blew up.
Ace of Base is on here, 23 million.
Ace of Base?
Yes.
I only know one of their songs.
Spice Girls, Ace of Base. I mean, Santana maybe was a poor addition just because he's been around for 65, 70 years or whatever. He's incredible.
So according to Grammy.com, 45 million copies. That's how many copies of the Bodyguard soundtrack sold worldwide. Wow.
And here's Def Leppard Hysteria, Josh. It says somewhere around 13, 14 million. Carlos Santana, I never gave a rip. Never about Carlos Santana. Not my style. And then I saw him in concert 6-7 years ago. He opened up for Rod Stewart, and it blew my friggin' mind. That dude is incredible, and his band is incredible. Here's a text. What about Motley Crue? Motley Crue never sold anywhere near these friggin' other people. Queen, they have a couple of compilation records that are in there somewhere. All right, there you go.
Billy Joel is not on here anywhere.
Yes, he is.
Is he? Okay.
A greatest hits record he released many years ago. He's up there in the 20 million there. Yes, he is.
That's my guy.
You love Billy Joel.
I do.
I love a few of his songs too. I do.
Oh, yeah.
It might surprise you what my favorite Billy Joel song is. You tell us your favorite Billy Joel song, Brad Ryder, since you're such a big fan.
I seriously, I like 20, 25, 30 of his songs, but I guess The End is a pretty good song.
All right, see, I don't know that one. Could you sing it to me?
No, I can't really.
I
haven't had my coffee.
My favorite Billy Joel song, and maybe it's a cover, I don't know, is when he says, Johnny's and the down on Sunset Boulevard. Say goodbye to Hollywood. I love that friggin' song. Yeah. I could listen to Say Goodbye to Hollywood all day long.
Mine is She's Always a Woman. That's the best.
I've seen him 5 times in concert.
This song is boring.
You recommended it
I
to
know
me
I
like
did,
5
and
years
I
ago.
regret it.
I love that song.
When I first met Ashley, she I think she heard Josh and I going back and forth on all these rock bands and rock songs that we love so much, and she said, look, I don't know Dick Tracy about a lot of these 70s, 80s. Would you write down some ballads that I might like? And I wrote down a couple by Billy Joel, and I regret it.
I love them.
Why do you regret it?
Because She's Always a Woman is such a boring song.
No.
What about I Thought She Was a Woman? I've had that experience before.
In this day and age, that would fit.
Oh, man.
A Matter of Trust. I like that song.
Yeah.
What about the theme to Bosom Buddies, My Life?
Oh, yeah.
They play that a lot on the radio.
Oh,
I hear that
I know
all the
they
time.
do.
And it reminds, all I think about is Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks and, God, what was the other actor's name?
Peter Scolari?
Yeah.
Is that the guy?
Yeah. They were.
He's got a couple concerts coming up. I'm not sure where around the country where he's playing with Sting. That would be a phenomenal show.
Delivery driver Jesus loves Uptown Girl. I like that one a lot,
Yeah.
too.
Oh, come on.
What's the one that goes Harry Truman, Doris Day, Red China, Johnny?
Oh, no.
We didn't start the fire.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. Yeah, I love that one.
just miserable.
I thought that was a Fall Out Boy song.
Just miserable.
Did they do a cover of that?
They did. They did an updated version of it.
Oh, is it bad?
It's pretty bad.
Is it?
Yep.
Throw it all into the garbage.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show. 93X.
The 93X Half-Assed Morning Show podcast is sponsored by Standard Heating and Air Conditioning. New episodes drop each weekday. If your podcast platform has ratings, go ahead and give us 5 stars and maybe give our enemies 1. Thanks, and here's a word from our sponsor.
Standard Heating and Air Conditioning wants to wish you a happy holiday season and wants to let you know that Standard Heating is ready if you face a heating emergency. Their expert team is available through the holidays to make sure you stay warm and safe, no matter what. Become a Smart Club member so that you'll have peace of mind knowing that you're covered for the upcoming winter season. For more info or 24/7 emergency heating services, call 612-824-2656. Comfort you deserve since 1930.